Nice.
We are back. The boys are back in town. So, this is Outlaw Window Cleaner Radio, and I'm here again with my co-host, Impromptu, Mark Tanner. My main man,
what's
50
up, guys?
grand. What's up, Mark? How you been doing?
Everything is good, man. Just we finally had a day today with without any rain, and
no rain.
So,
That's nice.
We're still 10 days behind on everything, but hey,
my sister took a trip down to Florida. First time she's ever been on a plane. First time she's ever been out of the state, especially that far south. I mean, she's been to Tennessee before, but she's never been to Florida. So she wanted to take a trip. She looked to her older brother for some help, so I gave her some cash so she could go. Remember, you and I talked about that. And she went down there, and it rained the whole time. She didn't get to do anything she
in the
wanted to
summer. Dude, because I've lived here my whole life. You don't realize that shit that happens here doesn't happen everywhere. I had a kid working for me, Jason, came from upstate New York, and inevitably he went back there, and he's like, holy shit. And I'm like, what? And he goes, it's raining here, and literally across the street, it's not raining. And I'm like, yeah, that happens all the time. Now rain has to stop somewhere, right? But
right, yeah,
it's so common in Florida,
right?
To walk 10 feet and you're in the rain, and walk 20 feet the other way and you're completely dry.
That's wild. Don't mind my big water jug, man.
Oh, look at that! I got my Yeti cup or my.
I gotta stay hydrated, man. I gotta stay hydrated in the summer. I got kidney issues, so I'll end up passing a stone, and that's the worst thing that can happen to you when you're trying to clean glass. You don't want to have wiener babies. You know what I mean? Those stones coming out are the worst thing ever. Stay hydrated, guys.
Yeah, I've never had that, but I heard I have a buddy Jim, big bodybuilder guy, and it brings him to tears. That's how bad they are.
It's the worst thing I've ever been through in my entire life. It's absolutely horrible. I don't know what to equate it to, but I don't wish that on anyone. I've even gone as far. I even went out and bought me a Panama Jack hat today, or last night. I went out and bought one to cover my head because I'm worried about my head and the sun and stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. I gotta watch the sun. So all you guys out there, wear sunscreen, drink water, put a hat on, stay out of that sun. The tan is cool. Get your tan, but just be intermittent with that shit. Don't sit out in it all day.
Yeah, well, you don't realize it when you're working outside, especially in reflective glass and whatnot.
Oh no,
you're getting smoked.
Well, I don't know. Today we were out on the glass. I started to do a video for YouTube today, but I'm doing the podcast. That's enough editing for me for one afternoon. So I was out on the front of this house on the island, on one of the islands that I work on. And I don't know, it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, and the sun was brutal. Like, it felt extra hot today for some reason. I don't know why. It just felt way hotter than it normally does. I don't know why it did, but it just felt like, I was just like, man, dude, this is out of control. I mean, how hot I was just melting.
You guys have that humid heat like we do, or do you have the dry heat?
We're humid up here. It's sticky heat, you know what I mean? So
yeah, some mornings
all I smell all day was bacon. So I mean, that wasn't too bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I've seen on the Facebooks that and privately that you told me that you got your gunslinger in the mail. So what'd you think of that? You got to use it a little bit today. Is it okay?
No, because I was doing a scratch removal job
that
I'll be on for the next.
What a scrub!
No, but what happened was, remember I asked the question, do I have to sign for this thing? So I did what someone suggested. I signed my tracking order, stuck it on the door. Plus, my son was home because it was last day of school a few days ago, and I said, dude, this shit is coming, and if he tells you you're too young to sign, you tell him here's the thing, and he sent me a picture. Like, he was excited, didn't even know it was in the box. I was like ready to pack my polisher and come home, but But I'm going to be 100% honest. I got home. That was the first thing I did. I cut it open, and I have to say, and I did hold one at the trade show. But I walked into the trade show, and Perry put this thing around my waist, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?"
Right.
I mean, honestly, I was
Right.
like, and all this shit was going on. I was meeting Richie Blue and a lot of people for the first time, and I'm like, "What the fuck did he just put on me here?" And I'm looking at him like, that's like a cool looking bucket on a belt. And honestly, the first thing I thought was a dustbuster. Like,
I remember that conversation. Yes.
Yeah. So, and I have to say that seeing all the videos, and people are complaining about videos, and I was going to make a video. I actually,
well, you were going to make a video just to be Mark about it.
Yeah, to be a dick, but I don't want to.
Hey, and by the way, you told me to remind you if you were chopped out of the screen, you kind of are a little bit. So
okay, but
you just
this way.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so I mean, get the whole ugly head and not just.
I do. Yeah, not just part of it.
So, I was going to make a video. We were going to take people are taking and crushing their traditional bucket on a belt.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting firecrackers in them or shit like that. And I had an idea. I was going to put my gunslinger on, put my gun in my gunslinger, and then shoot my plastic bucket on a belt.
Listen.
And then I said to myself, I'm just one of these guys making a stupid fucking video.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I'd rather give that to someone who doesn't have one,
Yeah.
Or put it on the shelf with other stuff I just don't need right now,
Right. That's what I do. When I try something new, or I get a tool, or like sometimes I'll order stuff and then it'll come in the mail. I'm like, why did I order? I'm never going to use this. You know what I mean? I'm one of those kind of guys. I kind of like I bought an 18-inch Unger channel, a Ninja channel, and for no reason, because I'm never going to use it. I got 4 of them in the truck. I don't know why I needed that one. So I ended up giving it to that Mike Lee dude in, I think it's North Carolina or South Carolina. He needed some tools. He's, starting out window cleaning. He wanted to try some stuff. So I was like, I got some stuff laying around. Save yourself some money. You know what I mean?
Dude, because I had this for a while till I got a grasp on it. We'll get back to gunslinger, but I had this silent, and I call it silent because it took me a while to acknowledge it. My wife passed it up. I got this little obsessive compulsive thing where I'd buy 2 of everything,
Oh, really?
Not expensive things, not,
Right.
But
you didn't go and buy 2 F-150s. You just bought 2 pairs of sunglasses. Yeah.
I wear cheap sunglasses, so if I find a pair I like, I'd buy 2 of them because I know once I lose, I'm not going to find it. And like, we're in the grocery store, my wife goes, "Why do you have 2 of everything?" And I'm like, "Do I?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I happened that a long time with window cleaning tools. Now I buy, a lot of equipment for the guys and everything, whatever they want.
Right.
But to get back to it, I have bins and boxes of squeegees and channels and handles because I try everything that catches my eye. And 90% of the time it sits in the bin. And I thought about, to put it up for sale because there's a couple used window cleaning websites. Some of the stuff has never been used. But long story short, I'd probably put a little care package together for guys that are in need and just, ship it to them because it's just sitting there collecting dust. And
you got to be careful who you're doing that for. You know what I mean? Because there's some people, I'm not going to mention his name because that's all he wants to do is talk shit. So people will talk about him because he's a nerd like that. But a few guys send him a bunch of stuff and now he acts like he don't know nothing about it. You know what I mean? Now he's too cool for school. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful who you're helping out. But I get what you're saying though. It's nice to be able to help somebody because, like I said, I'm not really out anything. I'm not, I've spent the money. It's been sitting there forever. You know what I mean? And it's going to continue to sit there because I'm never going to use it. You know what I mean? Maybe this guy will take this wagtail and kick ass with it and make a bunch of money with it. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, dude, I had that in glass restoration. I sent out some proprietary polishes and pads. Next thing you know, there's a fucking video, and I'm getting slammed on Instant Messenger. Hey, he's selling a video with your shit on it, and I'm like, dude, really?
I remember that as well. That put the kibosh on stuff for a lot of guys, including me, because I was like, in your ear, constantly wanting to know, you know what I mean? And then you were like,
Yeah.
listen, man, I gotta play it cool for a while, which I completely understand. I'm not saying, Mark Tanner don't trust me, but after going through something like that, geez, oh Pete's, man, what kind of, these
Yeah.
people out here,
Dude, I
ooh,
had a local guy. I bid a job for the computer company called Citrix, which I'm doing another one of their buildings. It'd be my biggest project to date.
uh-huh,
And I did one of their buildings, and I was up against a restoration guy that's not a window cleaner. He does metal, and I really don't mess with metal, but as someone who does a lot of fabrication, I'm sure I could figure out
find
how to
something, yeah,
restore metal. I
right,
mean, metal's a lot easier than glass, in my opinion. But
mm-hmm,
um, dude, I bid against this guy, and he went to the meeting with Citrix, and we both did a sample. We both put our he had a business card taped on his repair, and I had my little plastic cling. And he just went to them and badmouthed me. He said, "That guy's a window cleaner. He doesn't know what he's doing. I'm a restoration specialist. I make my living doing this. He's doing it on the side, And they told me this, and I was like, I'm
wow,
not here to badmouth anybody. I could tell you this: if you look at my sample for repair and his sample for repair, whose is better? They said yours all day. I said, give him another shot. Give him another shot.
right,
Let him take a second crack at it.
right,
I go, but here's the thing. I polished the building was black glass, silver glass, black glass, silver glass. I chose to do the black glass, and the reason is black glass is the hardest to restore, whether it's a scratch or a
oh
stain,
yeah.
because it's not that it's more reflective, it just shows every shadow
Shows
of everything.
everything, and I feel like it's more
Yeah.
absorbent. Honestly,
Yeah.
because
Well,
I pull a hard water stain from a sprinkler system, and I've told these people I've been doing this property for like 10 years, and I'm like, listen, I don't mind you paying me all this money to pull this hard
yeah.
water stain off every time every like 3 months I'm pulling this stain off.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't mind that, but if you just change the heads of the sprinklers to where they weren't shooting on the glass, you wouldn't
Yeah.
have this problem anymore. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
that black glass, man. And like you said, you can get it
Yeah.
shiny, it looks good, and then come back in the daylight, and you're like, oh my
You
goodness.
see the
You know what I mean?
shadows
Ugh.
of it. And
Yeah.
so rather than badmouth him, I just simply said, I'll tell you what, let him do a second sample. He chose to do silver, which in my opinion, maybe not his, silver's
Hmm.
a lot easier than black. So how about this? I'll do a silver test for you and let him do one on the black side by side, because the glass was, in rows, little rows.
Right.
And I blew him out of the water, and then I seen the guy, when you're washing windows or doing restoration, you're always looking into the window to see what's coming up behind you,
Uh huh.
you know?
Right.
I
Of
mean,
course. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and I see this friggin' van come driving by, a creeper van, real slow.
Right.
And I had one of my guys. I'm like, listen,
Had a
dude.
queen size mattress in the back.
Yeah, yeah. And it
Old
was
dirty
him.
sleeping bag.
And dude, I would have shook his hand and said, hey, dude, what's your process? What are you doing? And dude, we caught him going into the garbage looking for expendables. That's how, I have to be on guard with fucking assholes like that,
Right.
But so anyway, that we got off on a tangent, but
You started on the gunslinger, and then
yeah. So
I said something, and this all kind of leads into what There were some things that went on today on Facebook, and between me and this feller, and you know, when you bash something or someone, and you think you're trying to direct your whatever it is, because it's weird, because I don't get why all of this angst for this product. I mean, it's the Gunslinger's a nice product,
well,
and when you go
uh,
and you say the things that you're saying, you're not affecting the guy that manufacturing these as much as you think you are, because he's laughing at you. The dude that you're dicking over is another guy on the glass, a window cleaner. A dude that made something to fix a problem that he felt, wasn't addressed, and something that he got tired of dealing with on a daily basis, cleaning windows.
yeah.
The
Well,
same way that the guy that, the samurai bucket that you like, that guy, Jared,
yep.
he made a product, and he put all of his time and effort into it. You don't see us on there shitting on it. I mean, we might point out some things here and there, you know what I mean? But we're not like Jared's this and Jared's that. I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, relax,
Well,
bro. That shit's just, it's
everybody.
out of hand. It's just, it's enough already.
No. Well,
There
that's
is
what
no.
happens
Go
with the
ahead.
internet. That's what happens with
Mm,
passive aggressive people, and I'm passive aggressive. I post shit just to get a reaction out of people so I can
right,
fuck with them.
right,
I mean, look, it's in everybody to a certain extent, but
right.
I'll tell you that when I put my hands on the gunslinger at the trade show, well, I'll tell you the rest of the story because you'll find this funny that we snuck into the trade show. You know, that's funny as shit, dude. You gotta hear the story. But let me finish my gunslinger because
right.
we're never gonna get to the gunslinger.
All right.
I saw the videos. I saw you with it, you know, and look, you're one of the people that I have a lot of respect for. Not because I think you're, you know, we're personal friends, though we've never met.
Right.
I see where you're coming from. I know where you've been for the most part, and I
Yeah.
know what you do.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
there's a bond there.
Right.
So if you tell me something's pretty good, it catches my eye. I had it in my hands at the trade show. It wasn't that I wasn't impressed. I wasn't interested because I'll be honest with you, dude.
You don't wear them
I'm
very
not a
often.
bucket on a belt guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
You
not.
told me that. You told me that.
Yeah.
You told me
And
that when you actually first, after you first saw it at the trade show, we messaged back and forth. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, I tried on the Dustbuster, and I'm like, the Dustbuster, and you're like,
Yeah.
the Gunslinger. I'm like, you're such an ass.
Well, the funny thing is, so I have an Ed a black one. I've got a blue Mormon that was given to me at Perry's Accelerate training program that we did here in Palm Beach.
Okay.
I've probably got a green one, which would be an Unger.
Right.
And I've got them over the years. When I was younger, I climbed a lot of ladders, and I loved it for that.
Right.
I found it cumbersome climbing in and out of the cart, taking your belt off and whatnot. I do keep one in my toolbox, which is the Mormon one, because at one of my Whole Foods, I have to walk on shopping carts and do about 20 windows. So I bring it to hold water. So I was intrigued by it. I saw some of the videos, and I do believe in supporting someone's creation, because that's what it is. But it's
Right.
not another bucket on a belt. What caught my eye is it's a total innovation of a product, okay, that seems to have some value to it. So, look, a plastic injection molding, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just another little different shape, but this caught my eye. So, watch the videos. I said, you know what? I spoke to Richie on the phone. I'm trying to help him with some. He's thinking about making
Trying to do some more innovating. So, which is cool.
I mean, and Richie knows I'm honest with him. I go, you can't fix a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So if you're I just don't want to be telling you this is a great idea, and then you go through the production of it and it falls, because I don't want to be. I tell them what I would think of something.
Yeah, that's why it's best to, when you don't have any experience with something and you want to try to, in their case, in Richie's case, he wants to try to make a positive impact on all areas and aspects of window cleaning if he can, because he's got that kind of head on his shoulders. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But in the same sense, it's kind of hard. Like you said, we can't invent problems here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
if you've created the solution to a problem that really doesn't exist, well, then you really didn't do much. That's my opinion. So I unwrapped the thing, and everybody knows about the packaging. I found it brilliant. And I opened it up. I walked out to my truck, and I took my I had one of those bull rings on there. I took it off, put it in place of the bull ring, walked to the bed of my truck, grabbed an 18 mop, a 22 mop, an 18 squeegee, a 22 squeegee, and a scraper. That's my go-to stuff for commercial work. And stuck it in there, and like I said, the angel sang. I was like, this fucking thing is badass, dude.
I mean, it's legit. I mean, and the shit, it was
is.
the stuff all up in your armpits and all
Yep.
now, you know?
No, I've already sold another one to a buddy of mine who doesn't do internet, and I sold business to him.
So was the stuff all high and tight on you, or was it away from your body, you know? I mean, did it fit well? Did the stuff fit well?
I pulled the belt tight, and it conformed to my waist.
Uh-huh.
And it does go about to my knee because I got like T-Rex arms and legs, you know.
Yeah. You are shorter than people would think.
A
little bridge troll.
Yeah. It's funny. I have to use a pole to reach a door.
Right.
Not really. But
Close.
that's why I use big tools, So, um, I have to say that the way the equipment went in and fell into place, and I noticed it start catching the water, and I'm pulling the mop in and out, just playing around.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbors are probably going, "What the fuck is that idiot doing now?"
Right.
But I have to say that I think it's totally brilliant, and I'm happy that I bought a second
Right.
one, and I'm going to sell one. I'm not selling any of the ones I purchased. I'm selling one to a buddy of mine that he says, when you get it, we'll meet up. I want to put it on and try it. And he's a guy that has 48 loops on his belt, and I'm like, dude,
Right.
you can eliminate half of that shit,
Right, yeah.
And
See,
he's a
that's
commercial
cool,
stock
man.
president.
That's cool, man. That's cool. What I like about it, my favorite part about of course I do a lot of storefronts, well, restaurants, so it's cool for that.
Yep.
But on the ladder, man, I love it on the ladder because I'm not fumbling trying to find my slot. I just drop my tools. I literally just drop them in there.
Dude, I'm going to be wearing it while I do glass restoration because that thing will hold my polish. It'll hold a couple different abrasives. I'll wipe it out, dry it out, and I'm going to use it for multiple things. I mean,
it's pretty cool kit. I'm not trying to take anything away from what Jared's done. I'm not. I mean, I know people get that idea, and I'm not. To me personally, we're talking about two different things here. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not knocking that tool at all. I feel like the only negative things that have come out of this is it's not the tool itself. The tool itself it's pretty decent as far as plastic buckets on a belt go. The issue here is here comes
they're coming to get you, dude.
No. This chick over here OD'd again. Jeez, oh Pete's.
Really?
Yeah, no kidding. She OD like every couple of months. Yep, same house.
Sucks.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it addresses a lot of problems, with plastic buckets on a belt. You know what I mean? It's very innovative in that regard. You know what I mean? But the problem is that it was made out to be something that it's not by a bunch of bozos. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was made out to be something that it's not by people that had nothing to do with the design.
Yeah.
And that kind of created tension, and everything is a comparison. Look,
right.
I'm sure that piece of equipment is well thought out,
right,
and it probably works.
There's no question.
For a lot of people.
There's no question.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But because first of all, people were talking bad about it without even putting their fucking hands on it.
The gunslinger?
Look, the thing that's different about the gunslinger is it does the same thing theoretically, but it's such a different design that unless you physically put it on and put your tools in it,
it holds more than that. It holds more than that. Yeah, it holds.
You can't compare it.
Yeah, it holds more than that thing too. Yeah, and it holds things a lot better than that thing does. But the comparisons were not drawn by anyone on this side of the fence. You know what I mean? That was never the case. You know what I'm saying? So.
But see, that's the sad thing is that's sad for Jarrett. And to a certain extent, it's bad for Richie because people were judging the gunslinger without physically putting your hands on it.
And that's all of this stuff. These guys that are saying these things, they've never had one. They don't. Maybe that's why this dude just won't stop talking about it. Is because he wanted one. He was in private messages begging for one and didn't get one. They want, you know what I mean? The dude was making them by hand. It takes him 4 hours to make one of those. I mean, like I said, it's ridiculous, man. It's so stupid. And sorry if the guy wanted to put it in the hand of experienced veteran window cleaners so that he could get proper input on its evolution to where it's at right now. You know what I'm saying? Oops. Sorry the dude wants to be successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or he could give it to some crumb bum that's been cleaning windows for 8 months and just talk shit on the internet. You know what I mean?
It's not fair to
Good
Richie
Lord, sir.
to judge the thing without knowing its capacity.
Yeah. And my judgment, or not even so much judgment, but my comments on the Samurai are all based on videos posted by people that are reviewing them, like Luke the Window Cleaner, Steve-O. that Kevin dude that grinds glass without a polish, grinds glass without his personal protection equipment.
Yeah.
And this other crumb bum, you know what I mean? These videos, I'm just basing it off of that. You know what I mean? If you want to put out unflattering views of it, that's not my fault. I'm just giving you observations. You know what I mean? I know they're just giving
Yeah.
observations, but there's a limit to that. I farted. There's a limit to that, and it
Nice.
smells. Yeah, there's a limit to there's constructive criticism, and then there's you're just trying to get attention by saying stupid shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like attacking Perry, attacking Richie, you know, going at their quality and all that stuff. Nobody's done any of that stuff to Jared.
No.
I mean, you know, come on, man. Quit being dicks, dude. For
Well-
real, man. You ain't never touched it, so quit talking about it like you know something about it. You know what
Well,
I mean?
I know,
Like I said,
I-
clean a couple windows and get back at me, bruh.
I would tell you this. I know this. I don't know Jared. I've seen
He's
him
the
do a
he's
video.
the screen wash. He's the dude that made that screen washer, the Aztec screen washer. That's his thing.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So he did the screen. I don't know if he's got any other products. People rave about that screen washer. I mean, it's a little pricey for me. You know what I mean? I'm just a bum. You know what I mean? I don't make no money. So, you know, it's a to me. I don't know. I'm like storage wise and stuff like that, and how much it costs. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, where am I going to put this thing on my truck?
Well,
And second
but-
of all,
but it's
it's
just
pretty
so-
expensive. It's like $300. You know what I
if
mean?
you're-
$300
if
could buy
yeah,
me
but
3
never mind the
gunslingers.
price. Never mind the price. If it
It's actually
worked for
$250,
you,
I think, somewhere else.
yeah, but but if it worked for you and it made your
Yeah.
job more efficient, or even got you home earlier,
Right.
it
It's
might
worth
be
it.
something you consider.
Yeah, it's worth it
You know.
if that's the case. Yeah.
And as far as the bucket on the new Samurai that he came out with, if it was me distributing, looking for distribution for it, and all that shit went down, I'd be like pulling my
Yeah.
shit. I'm gonna
Yeah.
cut my own nose to spite my face,
Right.
but I don't need this bullshit going on
Jeez,
about my
yeah.
product.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
know
guys
what, dude?
know.
I don't even, as far as screen washers go, dude, I just use my water-fed pole brush. I've got a little quick connect attachment that I put on the end of a garden hose, and I just wash them with my water-fed pole brush, and they turn out beautiful. So, I mean, you know what I mean?
When I used to do residential, I would just take my soap and my mop when I was done
Yeah.
washing all the windows, and I'd scrub all four corners, turn it around, rinse it off, tap it on the ground, lean it up on the house.
Right.
I mean,
That's the way I was taught how to do it initially, is use your mop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's the way I did it, and then it was like, and I could see where something like that might help if you got
Dude,
a house with
hell,
100 screens.
Hell yeah,
you know?
man. I mean, if I ran into something where I was like, man, I've got to clean a shitload of screens, I'd buy one. You know what I mean? Because
Sure.
it would, if I got a screen job where there was enough screens to justify $300, I would buy it. You know what I mean? Just to
Sure.
make the job quicker. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
as of right now, being the lowly butt scrub that I am, you know what I mean? I can't afford that.
Well, yeah, and
I'm a
the
loser.
fact that you're skeptical about using it because it doesn't fit into your method, then that makes the decision. The 300 is almost irrelevant if you're not
Yeah.
going to use it every day.
Yeah.
The messed up thing is, I'm not a residential guy, but I would assume this next little statement is correct, that I saw guys going, we add the screen washer to our premium package. Now, if I was a consumer and you were washing my windows and you told me it's windows and screens, but if you want us to use this special piece of equipment,
I'll charge you more, but it's
I'm going to
super
charge
sweet.
you more. And I would say, no. See, this is the way it works. You're cleaning my screens. They better be fucking clean. I don't give a shit how you do it. Clean or dirty. That's it. They're clean or they're dirty.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Well, that's this
it's like-
dude. That dude that we were talking about earlier. That was his whole thing. He's like, dude, people are calling me just because of my screen washer, man. Like my customers are telling their customers, their neighbors, like, man, he's got this screen washer, and they're hiring me because of it. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Yo, bro, I'll
Yeah.
come in there and do all those screens for half price, and they'll look just as good, and then you'll be sitting on that thing.
Dude, exactly. It'll be
Come
fine.
on, bro. That's my whole thing. I normally, when I clean a window, I wipe the sills down. I lift the sash. I wipe the bottom underneath that. You know what I mean? I make sure the sill's nice and clean. If there's spider webs and bullshit around the frame, I'll give my wipe with a quick towel wipe and then wipe the screen down and put the damn screen back in. they don't get charged extra for that. That's just part.
No.
That's just part. That's why I have the customers that I have. Is because I do extra stuff like that, and I'm not trying to nickel and dime them to death.
Dude, I had back years and years and years ago. I had carpet in my house when my kids were young, and my wife goes, "We need really new. Either get rid of this carpet or put down some kind of flooring." I'm like, "Let's get it clean so it's kids were crawling around on it." And I see one of these advertisements in a local rag magazine. It's like $15 a room, 3-room minimum, and pre-treat this and pre-treat that. So I go, let's do the master bedroom, one of the kids' bedrooms, and the hallway. We'll call that a room if he'll do that. This guy rolls up in a big expensive van, and one guy, I go, okay, we're going to do master bedroom, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So that's like $45. He's like, well, we got to pre-treat. You have a dog, okay? That's another $20. And I'm like, all right, go ahead and do it. I'm figuring, $100 with a tip. And all of a sudden, this other guy's walking around with a fucking clipboard and a cell phone. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? And he goes, well, I'm just, he goes, we could put this Scotch Guard treatment on. I go, listen, dude, in fucking 6 months, when I got the extra money, this shit is going out for the trash. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm just cleaning this stuff, bro.
Dude, he gives me a written proposal for almost $500 by the time he was done upselling. And I go, listen, I'm in a service business too.
Right.
I said, very similar to yours. I said, and you make this a habit of coming into someone's house with 2 guys walking around with a clipboard. I go, and now I said, what would it cost me? $100 with a tip is now $500. He's like, hang on, Mr. Tanner. And he gets on the phone and he's so-called calling the boss. And he's like, you know what? If you do it today, the guy's already got the fucking hose rolled out of the truck. Right. What are you talking about for today? And he goes, we'll do it for $400. I go, well, okay, because I'm in business. Now you got to take something back from me in order to make the same money.
Right.
Or you were fucking me on that $100. So what is it?
Well,
you're not going to.
Yeah.
No.
Now you're so quick to lower your price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's
sudden.
wrong with you,
So I go, I'll tell you what, here's what's going to happen. I go, you could roll up that hose and roll the fuck off my driveway, or you could fucking take the $100 with the tip to fucking clean this hallway, this room, and this room. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
And he looked at me with the deer in the headlights. I go, what you going to do, dude?
Right. I would just like to point out before I keep going here that Mark has said the F-bomb 1,000 times, and we are 33 minutes in, and I have not said one. So everyone can kiss my arse.
I bet you.
But anyways, it's not like I don't clean screens. I mean, but if a customer calls and say, hey, I want to have my windows clean, I'm like, all right, cool. I come and give them an estimate. And they're like, do you wash screens too? I'm like, well, I wipe them down automatically as part of the thing. But if you want them washed, it's, so-and-so. You know what I mean? That's what I do. You know what I mean? I don't try and upsell nobody. Like, how much does it cost to wipe the sills down? That's just part of it. I mean, if you're getting dirty water on their windowsill, wipe it off. What does it take a little extra to stick your finger in the corners? You know what I mean? These guys are just, man, bro.
But see, here's the thing. I mean,
upsell kings.
I used to tell people all the time.
Those are not to interrupt you again, but those are the $600 fucking Gucci shoes type dudes. You know what I mean?
I was going to buy a pair of those, but then when I was looking at them, the guy kept staring at me and he says, those are very common in truck stop restrooms. And I'm like, no. I'm not about that, dude. And he's like, I'm telling you, if you wear those, the dudes will follow you around.
Right, yeah. You just got to stick your foot under the stall or something like that, ain't it? Yeah. You just got to have your Gucci loafer on and stick it underneath the...
Stick what to you? So yeah, I don't know how many times I used to clean a house and you'd have all the screens off and you'd finish, rinsing them down and everything. And the homeowner would go, God, it looks so much brighter, so much better without the screens. And I'd ask him, let me ask you a question. Do you ever open your windows? Oh, no, we don't open the windows. I go, then let's put the screens in the garage. I'll stack them up nice and neat. You don't have to put them back on. Right. That way when I come back, well, what if we have to put them on? Then you fucking put them on,
Right.
Right.
That's most people are like, I have this lady that I mean, the windows are never opened. I'm the only person that opens them to take the screens off. Yeah. And she's like, is there any way that we could keep, because they keep getting milked out. They get that screen burn on them. They keep getting milked out, and I keep having to rub the windows out. And finally, she's like, this is really getting to be costly. Why are you not, why isn't this working? I'm like, it works perfect. The problem is you put these screens on, you never open the windows. I said, and it's on this side of the house. She's like, well, you're right. I never opened them. I was like, why don't we just put the screens in the garage attic, and they're there. I'll number them all with a marker so you know where they go.
Yep.
And you know, and she's like, well, what happens if I want to open my window? I was like, you just open the attic door and grab a screen and stick it in there. I mean, if you need it that bad, but I mean, you know, most people. Central air, a lot of people nowadays don't open their screen. Now I like to have my windows open, but there's a point in the summer where you're like, I've had enough. It's time to go to an ice box when I get off of work.
Well, yeah, here in Florida, it's not often to open the windows. If it gets down to 50 or 60, my wife she'll go get me a couple screens, and I'm like, what do you want to open? And my living room and kitchen makes a nice breeze, so I'll put the screens on for those windows, and then I take them down when we're done. You know, I mean, look, we don't have metal screens here in Florida. We have everything is that plastic shit, you know.
PVC.
We don't screen burn. I haven't seen that in 20 years.
Well, see,
here.
This is the problem. I mean, a lot of these houses are just older, like those '90s, late '90s, early '90s homes that were built then, and everything had a damn aluminum screen on it. You know what I mean? And some of these people, you know, I got a lot of that. There was a lot of houses built around that time around here, so I deal with a lot of that. But most of them now are, you know, pretty worn out. I've replaced a bunch on a lot of houses, you know what I mean? I always talk them into the PVC. It's like, just get rid of this. You're going to save yourself in the long run.
Yeah.
That shit's garbage.
And they always look like shit no matter if they're clean or not. Yeah. You know, they're discolored.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So you're liking your gunslinger, though? No? Yes?
I'm going to put it into action tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Morning, and I'll have it all day.
What color did you get?
I'm sorry?
What color did you get?
It's
blue?
Like a navy blue on the outside and black on the inside.
Okay. So you don't know the ghost town name of it?
No,
what's
that?
He named each color after an American ghost town.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I just went with the darkest blue. Actually, I wanted all black but I'm so fucking
you're right. I don't care. I'm just
internet savvy. I couldn't figure out how to just order a black one. I'm not about colors and stuff.
Right.
Then I just got that. I got the one that's Seattle Shithawks color. So I'm that one will be cool to have. I'm not about flashy colors and whatnot, whether it's my truck or my equipment. You know, I mean, but yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
the
like
one
navy blue.
That's the one you won in the raffle. You just like laid out your giant dong in the raffle. There, you're like, plop. And everybody's like, well, shit, Mark can have it.
Yeah. Well, it was for charity, and I figured
you thought for sure somebody was going to come in at 155, didn't you?
I was about to. Yeah, I would have went up by a penny at a time at that point.
I figured you would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would have made a day out of it, you know?
Right. Yeah. I almost engaged. Surprised. I almost engaged in that with you, but I was like, I'm gonna if I say $150.01, this bastard is gonna stick me with it.
Yeah, I'll be like, what is this? The fucking Price is Right? You Bob fucking Parker over here?
That's exactly what would have happened.
You know, if I was on the Price is Right and someone went a penny over me, I'd kick their fucking ass right on the
right, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Settle down, Grandma. Take a fucking punch to the head.
So what did you do?
Surprised. 3 hours later, when it was still sitting there, no one was ponying up no money for that thing. Well, I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I wanted to help that guy, which was a very honest guy, and said, "I'm back to work. I don't need the money." I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. And then Perry said, "Just give me $100 for it, because you want." I go, "No, I'll give you the 150. Find somewhere to go," and he did. And I think
Barry's
I like
a legit dude.
Like
he's a straight shooter, man. Contrary to what a lot of people like to say about the dude, that narrative about him is pretty. I know we had Jacob Dell on, and Jacob said in the beginning he wasn't really good with his customer relations, and I think maybe when he first started out, his customer relations might not have been as good, but clearly he's turned that around, because that's the boxing, the writing, giving everyone a personal message on there. I mean, I know some dude was like, dude, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, TJ. When you started washing windows for yourself, or with the guy that taught you, were you a great window cleaner to start out?
No.
Okay. No one is in anything they do. So
exactly.
He has learned how to. You know, you can get anybody to buy
his craft the same way that we've perfected our craft.
Yeah. So
His
Look,
craft is just a little different than ours.
I've spent time with Perry when he came down, and we hung out for a day,
Mm-hmm.
and we did a whole water-fed pole versus aerial lift versus controlled rope descent
Right.
in a race.
Right.
Okay, it was fun.
Right.
And we went to dinner and we hung out, and then I hung out with him at Accelerate training. So I'd like to say I went to dinner with him and my family.
Uh-huh.
I know him enough to know this. He's a genuine dude.
Right.
And I don't care what anybody else has to say. I know anytime I've had an issue, hey, Perry, I got a clamp that's it's just not okay. Boom, here it is.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
No one else does that, dude.
No. Mm-mm. And then,
No, I mean,
that was part of the reason I kind of, because at first, after I was kicked out of the pro window cleaning, the WCR group and stuff because of that order mishap and stuff, and then they started bashing the reach it pole, and this is only, this is a little bit after, not very long after I bought a Reach It Mini from WCR at one of the Lamborghini's suggestions. They were like, man, you ought to try this out. This is back when they were really pumping the Reach It stuff. You remember that. A lot of these guys have selective memory, but they were like really all over like Reach It. It was like, this is the best shit on the market, and I was like, all right, cool. Then I'll buy this and try it out. And after all that went down, I started second guessing it, and then I seen him in pictures and stuff with you, and I started to get to know you, and I was like, well, Mark's a stand-up dude, so if Mark thinks this guy's cool, then he's got to be cool. And then after conversations, you're like, oh, this is a good dude. So it just kind of reaffirmed my position, you know what I mean? And then over time, Perry was like, just anytime I had a question or had a suggestion, he just ate it up, man. He's a good-ass dude, man.
Well,
good dude.
Here's the thing. When what I admired was his passion, not only for the equipment, but for the person using it. And that's where I'm just not someone that's going to give him money for his tool.
Right.
I'm someone that I'm going to give him my money, and he's going to provide me with something that if it's not what I want, he's going to make it what I want.
Right.
And look, you've seen, I'm going to say something here. Phil Alexander that does the sim poles. I have no experience with him, but I will tell you this. My buddy Mike had a sim pole, and I used it on a job we did together, and I think it's a brilliant pole. Is it a Reach It? Well, it also was a 15-year-old pole when I got my hands on it.
Right.
But the design, the feel of it, the rigidness of it was a good pole. It seems like because he posts a video and he opens up a van and it looks like he's just got everything strewn about there.
That's
that they trash on him. But he does make a good quality piece of equipment.
I don't think Philip, he's just a little eccentric, he's just a little different than your average feller. He seems like a genuinely good guy. He clearly has been using the water-fed poles for a long time. He's
got 50 years experience. I don't know anyone.
Yeah, right? You know what I mean? What do you say to that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, you weren't even swimming in your daddy.
Exactly.
In his bag.
And this dude was
and he
cleaning
was
windows.
windows.
Yeah, so he gets my respect just because of that. That's why when he goes off on his tangents, I don't say nothing to him. It's just like, what do you say to that guy that, you know what I mean? That first he hasn't heard already before, you know what I mean? How many times has he said, how many times has Philip Alexander in 50 years heard the old catchphrase, you missed a spot? You know what I mean? That dude's if there's journeyman card carrying guys in window cleaning, he's like the guy that initiates you. You know, he's been doing it a long time, man. He's seen it all.
Let me tell you, the one thing that I did early on in my window cleaning was I had a guy that worked with my father that had 40 plus years at the time. I eventually hired a guy that retired, worked for me and then retired with 50 years experience. And you know what? The respect I have for them is they've seen so much and cleaned so much. Millions of windows, dude. Millions of windows.
Right.
In every situation you could ever imagine to be in, they've experienced it most likely.
Right.
And just out of that, you got to respect them. Bashing someone like that is...
it's worthless.
Like I saw someone go, F the old guys, they don't know anything. I hate to tell you this, dude. It took me a long time to wrap my head around watching an old guy with 50 years experience wash a window and never have to take a towel out of his pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. And I thought it was a challenge, but he was teaching me. you know, and I'm still not where he was back then,
Right.
you know,
Right.
but so you got to respect just the history
It's
that
like that. It's like that with everything. Just respect your elders because they've been there and done that. I mean, I think
Yep.
that's lost on a lot of younger guys nowadays. They have no respect for anything. You know what I'm saying? They
No,
have no respect for anything. So,
no.
and then you deal with dudes that like to just like bump their gums on the internet, and they like to say things and like, oh well, it's not cool if you talk about my window cleaning business, or try to make trouble for me and my business, but I'm gonna get on the internet and I'm gonna talk shit on these guys just because I'm a consumer and I can. And there's if you say
Well,
I'm doing something wrong, then you're part of the problem. No, you're just a twat, dude.
yeah.
You
You know how
know?
many pictures I have on my phone that I go, I'm going to put this up on one of the pages, and then start to link it up and say, you know what, I don't need the drama right now, because I'm going to get some guy that his biggest accomplishment is cleaning a $200 house. He's
Right.
going to tell me how to do my job,
Right.
you know? And I just,
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I was quite surprised when, I've seen you a few times in the Windows 101 group, which I'm no longer a part of. I try to steer
uh,
clear of James Riley. That's who we've been talking
uh,
about. I'm just going to say it. I try to steer clear, and he's like rampant through there. He's jerking everyone off in there, trying to,
but
get
that's
Manny's affection.
Manny's page,
Yeah,
right?
that's Manny's page.
I
Um,
met I met them at the trade show, and I
I heard
actually
he's an
bought
awesome
some.
guy.
Oh, dude, I bought some equipment from them at the trade show, because I'm like, can I buy this? And he's like, absolutely. And I walked out with a bag full of stuff, and I got mad respect for him, because he's a little guy trying to make a living, and
Right.
I don't
Well,
see him out there
right.
trashing anything.
No, no. It's
You
just
know?
it's just the twats that want to be attached to him. You know what I mean? Just one
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of one of the dudes wants to be a WCR clown, and this dude just wants to jerk Manny off. You know what I mean, for free stuff. But um, like I was saying, it was nice and weird to see you like in our group, the Outlaw Window Cleaner Network group, and
Yep.
the Windows 101 group, which is also it's a great group. I just left there because I'm tired of James Riley, but
No, I hear
um, you posting pictures of your work because you don't normally do that. You know what I mean?
you.
Like you
No.
said, that's not your thing, and you got a couple pictures of you in the lift, and I was just like,
Yep.
oh, that's cool. Mark's kind of opening up a little bit to everybody. You know what I mean? Which is,
Yeah.
cool. You know what I mean? Because like you
Yeah.
said, you're opening yourself up to a bunch of twats when you do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah. No. And like I said, my sanity is worth more than anything anyone has to say. So,
right.
you
And
know, let me tell you
I'm starting to learn that too, Mark.
yeah.
Before you get going on your tangent here, I'm starting to learn that my sanity is worth more than bickering with these morons. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they're just dumbasses. They're gonna burn themselves.
Yeah.
They're gonna flame out all on their own. You know what I mean? The people are gonna get wise to your shit eventually. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And dude, what does it change at the end of the day?
nothing,
Besides making someone
nothing.
frustrated or
Yeah,
something?
nothing. It
Nothing.
does nothing. Because I'm still out making money, bro. You know, I mean, contrary
Yep.
to what you're thinking. He's like, man,
Yep.
you're sitting around thinking about me all day. No, dude, I'm stacking checks, buddy. I mean, I'm
Yep.
not gonna get on here and brag, but I can tell you right now, I'm doing for a 2-man operation. I'm doing some serious cheese stacking right now. I am
There you
slicing
go,
a
man.
whole lot of bread. We are
Yep.
kneading the dough around here,
Are
cuz.
you going to be part of the $1 million squeegee club?
uh, I don't know. I think I could be one day.
I'll tell you what, dude. If
I'm
you
going to
ever
go
show
get
up
my
in
$600 loafers soon. It's
yeah,
coming, bro.
if I finally meet you and you're wearing a pair of $600 shit loafers,
Yeah.
we're going to go at it, buddy.
You're not gonna make me slide around in the front yard in my Gucci loafers, are you?
Yeah,
You're not
around here
kicking
we call
nobody's
those.
ass in Gucci loafers. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
not happening, dude. I'm stepping right on your feet.
exactly.
Hey, dude,
It's
I
like
tell
when
you
you're in
what.
school.
You had my. Are you going to tell a story? Are you getting ready to tell me
Yeah,
something? Okay, I want to
yeah, I'm
hear
going to
it.
tell you something. You'll find it funny.
Okay.
So, because the trade show was local to me, 150 miles,
Right.
I said my guys didn't want to go. I said, look, you get paid for the day. We'll go out. I want you to meet Perry. Some of them have met Perry when he was down when we did our videos together. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll have some lunch. We'll hang out, meet some people, and they're like, nah, we want to get this done. And so I wasn't going to go. And then my buddy Mike, who lives, 50 miles north of me, I called him. I'm like, hey, Mike, you interested in the trade show? And he's like, yeah, not really. I said, but dude, it's 150 miles away. We can't not go. And he goes, let's just go to the trade show. I go, find out how much it is. So he calls me back. He's like, it's $100 to go there. And that means if I buy something discounted from the trade show, we're not saving anything. And I go, let's just go. I'll tell you what, I'll drive, you buy lunch. If they don't have nothing there we want, we go out to lunch, whatever.
Right.
Let's make it a day.
Yeah.
Okay. I pick him up and we fly up there. And there was no traffic. Trade show opened at 10 a.m., I believe, 10 or 11, but let's just say 10 a.m., okay? We get there at 9:30.
Right.
All right? We walk into the hotel, and there's like nobody there, but I go to the front desk and I say, we're here for the window cleaning trade show. The lady points, go down that hallway, first door on the right. Okay. So we walk down the hallway. There's no IWCA, no guards, no nothing. And we walk into the trade show. Okay. And they're still setting things up for the trade show, right? So Mike looks at me and I go, I think we're in. And he goes, just pretend like you know what you're doing. So I immediately lock on to Perry. I see the Reach It display and I go over there, shake hands. I meet Rich.
No, you didn't meet Richie because Richie wasn't there. You might have met Tim.
I met Tim.
Richie wasn't at the show.
What's
Richie,
his name?
Larry.
Larry. Yeah, I'm sorry,
Larry.
Larry.
Yeah.
So we're all shooting the shit, right? Then it starts to get crowded because some of the classes that they had going on let out, and we're just visiting every booth several times, getting some T-shirts, talking to all the different suppliers and everything, finding it really interesting. Nanovations was there, so I finally got to meet them because I'm using their product in testing for some, a barrier for stains, and so I met face to face with them for a while.
I want you to keep going, but Nanovations, will that block hard water stains?
Yes.
For spring? Okay, cool. All right, keep going.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it after this.
Okay, keep going.
It's a great product. The only one I'm standing by right now.
Okay.
So I look at Mike and I go, dude, I want to spend some money here. I got an extra $100 because we didn't pay to get in. We didn't do this on purpose. It just happened, right?
Right.
But everybody had badges around their neck, right? With their ID card and their registration to be there.
Right.
So Sunbelt Rentals had laminates just sitting there. So we took a laminate and I stuck a business card in it. So we walked around and looked like we knew we would belong there. So we're there for like 3 hours, right?
Right.
Now, Mike is the kind of guy that he knows how the city's wired. He knows how to get shit right.
Right.
They start bringing out food, right? And I'm like, I can't eat the food, man. I go, I just feel too much of a scrounge.
Right.
So he's like, I said, besides, we're buying lunch. We're not eating that shit deli platter that everybody's had their freaking hands on.
Right.
So we're going through all this. We're looking at everything. I'm talking with Perry. I picked up stuff to turn my constructor brushes into the rinse bar and everything.
Oh, the Hydro Blade. Yeah.
Yeah, I got all the stuff from Perry, and we had a good time. So all of a sudden, we got a bag full of stuff, T-shirts and stuff I bought. I mean, we're carrying this big bag around, and I go, I got to go to the bathroom. So Mike goes, all right, I'll wait right here. So we're sitting stage side, and they're practicing for the speed contest, and it's crowded. There's 300 people in there, right?
Right.
I walk out and go to the bathroom, not thinking, but there's a security guard standing at the door. So I try to scoot on by her, and she wasn't having that.
Right.
So she goes, excuse me, where's your badge? And I go, oh, I don't have a badge. And she goes, what do you mean you don't have a badge? How'd you get in? I said, I walked right in. She says, oh, you need to get to go. And she was mad. So I go, all right. I go, let me go get my bag. I have stuff I've purchased. So Mike's got his back to me. I walk up to Mike. Right. And I figure I'd blend into the crowd. But when I turn around, she's doing this, she's watching.
Right.
She let me get out. Right. So I go, hey, Mike, we can either pay the $100 or we can go,
Right.
And he's like, talking about, I go, I got busted. And he's like, how did you get busted? I told him. So he goes, stand right here. I'll take care of this. I see him walk over there and he's talking to her for like 5 minutes. And he comes walking back and he goes, he's looking forward and he goes, don't worry about it. Everything's cool. And I'm like, dude, what'd you say? He's like, shut up. I'll tell you later. Right. So I finally get it out of him. He goes up and he says, you have any idea who he is? And she says, no, but he doesn't have a badge. And she goes, and by the way, where's your badge? He goes, well, I'm his handler. I said, what? And he goes, I told her, you're the only paid keynote speaker here. You own the largest window cleaning company in the country, and you don't have a badge on because everybody wants to talk to you,
Right.
and you want to be left alone. Right? I'm like, where did you come up with that crap? So dude, I'm standing there. I had a conversation with Mark Unger. Right now, Mark Unger, he's something, right?
Yeah, he's the man. Yeah.
He's standing there. Mark Unger standing there, and I go, great talking to you, Mark. Not nice to meet you. I go, great talking to you. He goes, great talking to you too, Mark. Right? So now I'm feeling really important.
Right.
I look at Mike and I go, hey, man, you have a steak sent up to my room, and I'll see you in the morning. And we walk out.
That's hilarious.
It was funny.
You guys, hey man, that's I've heard that they had a really good time down there. They had a bunch of fun. So I'm interested in going to one. I'm kind of regretting not going to the one in Florida. I could have went and I didn't. I should have went. I was going to, but I'm not an airplane guy. I was close. I was gonna go, and you were really uncertain about whether or not you were going to go. If I would have known for sure that you were going to be there, I would have came.
Yeah.
I would have came.
Yeah.
I would have. But you were kind of, I don't know if I'm going or not. And I was just like, I don't want to.
We'll plan better next time.
Yeah, I don't want to fly down there and potentially die in an airplane if you're not going to be
there.
Yeah,
I hear you. I hear you. No, I'm not an airline fan either, but. You know.
Well, I can't. I mean, I don't. Now that I've watched your not YouTube, your Netflix documentary. I am afraid to go outside at night, and I'm afraid to fly in planes because apparently there's such thing as UFOs. dude, what is it? Unacknowledged. Is that what it's called? Unacknowledged on Netflix. That shit, I watched it twice.
I watched it while you were watching it. I've seen it. I think 3 or 4 times. It's amazing.
Dude, it's out of control,
amazing.
Man. That many people and that senior positions in Lockheed Martin, the U.S. government, governments across all across the world. Of all of these reports, I mean, if there's even 1 or 2 that has the validity that they're claiming, how can you dismiss? I mean, and the reason why we're even talking about this is because the last podcast we got on, we got into talking about UFOs and shit, and you were like, dude, have you seen this? And I'm like, no. And you're like, you gotta watch this. And now I'm like, I got my window curtains closed at night now because I think there's gray aliens standing outside my window.
Got the tinfoil hat
on. I'm all freaking out watching Signs and shit. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
That movie right there. Signs that Mel Gibson is in.
Mel Gibson. Yeah.
Dude, that where the kids. I don't know if you know the movie very well, but the Mexican kids are at the party. And it's behind when that alien walks out from behind the hedges there, dude. That shit still to this day gives me the creeps, man. I love that movie, dude. I'm probably gonna watch that tonight before I go to bed.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But yeah, so if any of you have Netflix and you haven't seen Unacknowledged, it's a documentary. It takes about 2.5 hours.
That's about it. No, it's an hour and 40 minutes.
Is it? Yeah. And it's worth every minute of it,
dude.
Man.
It's so good, man. I'm a huge the moon is hollow guy, you know what I mean? I've read a bunch of shit about the moon, conspiracy books on the moon, with the Apollo missions, them releasing oxygen tanks from the lander to get back up. They got to reduce weight, so when they lift off, they kind of let things fly, and they couldn't get the lift they needed to achieve, so they jettisoned some empty oxygen tanks, and they hit the surface of the moon. And when they hit the surface of the moon, the seismographs that they planted on the moon 2 missions before, it looked like the moon was resonating, like it was ringing like a bell.
Rang like a bell.
Yeah. And this is NASA government documents saying that this. I mean, come on, bro. That shit's hollow. It used to be a spaceship. They parked it here.
NASA,
they experimented, and here we are cleaning windows.
Yeah, exactly. But NASA says, remember when those pyramids on Mars showed up, those structures in the face?
Yeah.
And they said, it's just an anomaly. But then they started figuring out where they're lined up, if they line up with our pyramids. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, dude.
dude, stuff
That's
just like the pyramids.
well,
I don't
not
believe
only
the
that, but
guys dragged those rocks.
the one that caught me was, I don't know how many years ago, but Phobos. I don't know what it's a planet. It's a moon that goes around one of the planets. It might be Mars or something like that, or Saturn, but it's called Phobos. Apparently, there's like they've got like satellite imagery or something like that. There's like almost like a right angled like obelisk type structure on the surface of Phobos. Like
Yeah, I
it
think that's
almost,
the one that goes around Mars.
yeah, dude, that shit's a trip, man.
Yeah, yeah,
I think people, I got a couple guys in my inbox and shit kind of giving me, busting my chops about stuff in that last episode, trying to, I got a couple of alien memes and stuff like that, but whatever, they're just clowning. I
yeah.
mean, everybody's got their little tick. That's just my little, that's always interested me. Space is, my grandfather worked at the NASA Plumbrook station here in town. Um,
Yeah.
and I've always been fascinated with space my whole life. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I'll tell you what. 2 years ago, my young son, he goes to private school,
Uh-huh.
and every year they do a trip somewhere. Because Orlando's
I mean, you're
somewhat
right there.
local.
Yeah, you're right there for
Yeah.
all of that.
So we
Yeah.
went. He says to me, "Dad, I think you'd be fun to have as a chaperone." And I'm like, "Okay." You're gonna
Yeah.
put me on a bus with a bunch of kids. That's be
Right.
fun though.
Right.
But it was to the Kennedy Space Center here,
Oh
and
wow.
I have to say, if you come to Florida and you want to see some amazing stuff,
Hmm.
spend the day at the Kennedy
I
Space
can tell
Center.
you right now, if I go down there, that I might even schedule stay down an extra day just to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Honestly.
they have. You sit there in this big IMAX theater,
Mhm.
and they show you the history of the space shuttle,
Mhm.
right? And what was the last one? Columbia,
Mhm.
okay, was one of the last shuttles.
Mhm.
So you sit in there and you have no idea what's about to happen. You watch this half-hour movie, and it explains to you everything about the shuttle, and then the curtain or the walls open up, and there it is, dude. There is the Columbia Space Shuttle with the hatch doors open, and it's literally, you can walk up to it and almost touch it by a few feet. To see such an amazing piece of
Dude, that's
equipment,
crazy. Yeah, man.
it'll blow your mind, dude.
I
It will
can't
blow your
imagine. I mean, and those dudes are flying up in the space, and like aliens are flying around them and shit. I don't care what
Oh
nobody
yeah.
says. They're up there, bro.
Well, that's what the good
I
thing
see. Hey,
about.
man, I seen when I was 12, 13 years old. I can't remember. My mom's ex husband's family owned a cabin down in West Virginia, up in the mountains, and me and my cousins used to sleep in my creepy uncle's camper van, and because the house, there were so many people in this little old house. It's like, man, we don't want to sleep on the floor. We'll sleep on the seats in the camper van. You know what I mean? And the
Yep.
three of us, all three of us saw it. And my one cousin, if you even bring it up to him, won't even talk about it. We
Well,
seen some lights. I don't know what it was. There was no sound. There was bright lights. There was no sound, and it hovered there, and then it was gone, disappeared. It was probably the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. So
it,
that's what
have you
started me on this path to begin with.
have you seen the movie called Fire in the Sky?
Yes,
Travis Walton. That's in
Travis
Ohio,
Walton.
isn't it?
No,
And
I
that's
don't think
one.
so. I don't think so. But what's weird about that is that was my mom's maiden name before she divorced this guy. He was a Walton. So,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, I think they
Night,
might
John
even be
Boy.
related. Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that all those guys took lie detector tests, and every
Yeah,
one of them.
everyone passed. Yeah, so that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, fellers. Don't go cutting trees in the forest. You might get kidnapped by aliens. Could
Yeah.
you
Don't live.
imagine that, dude? Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
how crazy would that be, man? Because I mean, if you think about it, if there's some supreme, not even supreme being, but some intelligent being that is either crossed dimensions or traveled the expanse of space, their technology is far beyond ours, and they can just take you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
They've got some kind of ray gun or smoky mist that flies out of their thumbnail or something like them dudes in signs, and they paralyze you, and then they put you in a fucking cocoon on a spaceship. There was my first F bomb, an hour and 5 minutes in, dude. And that petrifies me. That Fire in the
Yeah.
Sky movie, that movie is jacked up, dude.
Yeah.
I get
No,
like all heavy in the chest when I watch it. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I don't want to be kidnapped.
Yeah. Well, I've always been fascinated by it and space, like a lot of people. But
Right.
you know, I'd love one day to. If I'm not a traveling person, I've been to a few states. But I would love to go see the pyramids in Egypt
Oh,
and you know,
dude, I would love that
right
too.
there.
You know, I was reading something a couple of months ago. They were saying that this guy, I can't remember his name, John Anthony West. I don't know if you've ever seen there's a DVD series. I mean, a DVD that dates me, but it's called Magical Egypt. If you've never seen that, dude, that's probably some of the baddest shit ever. But anyways, this dude, I can't remember his name again, but he was saying that the Sphinx itself, the erosion on the Sphinx is not sand erosion, it's water erosion. How crazy is that? So that means it's way, way older than what they previously thought. That's the weird thing about history is me and Jennifer were watching this show last night, something on the History Channel, like something Uncharted, I don't know what it is, History Uncharted, some shit like that. But these guys are in the jungle in Mexico, and there's these cities, you know, the Mayan cities down there in the jungles that there's so many out there, they don't even know how many are out there. But this place was like 600 years before the popular Mayans, you know, like the guys that Chichen Itza and all that stuff, you know, where they cut the hearts out of their chest. These guys predate these guys by almost 700 or 800 years. And apparently this city that they've got in the jungle is the same size. It was paved too. It was the same size as Los Angeles in the jungle in Mexico.
Wow.
How crazy. The footprint is the same square miles as Los Angeles. And these are supposedly like, you know, not smart people.
Well, you ever seen some of the? I watched that. I used to watch. I haven't seen it in a while, but Ancient Aliens.
Oh yeah, George Sukatha, that Giorgio dude with the I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Yeah. No,
that guy.
They show that they cut these granite blocks and cut a square into a granite block. The technology we today.
I know what you're talking about.
Dude, they took a straight edge. And if you put a piece of hair,
it's Monte Picchu. Yes.
Machu Picchu or whatever it is.
Yeah, dude, those blocks are cut like jigsaw puzzles. They fit into each other dude, I've never seen anything like that, man.
We can't do that today.
Yeah, they say we can't do that today, and not only that, this whole place was disassembled and buried. They buried it.
Yep. And to make a square hole in a big 15,000-pound granite block, but to not penetrate the other side, and the corners are absolutely perfect.
Perfect, dude.
It's impossible for us
to do. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
That history, I mean, you know, we're going from aliens to history, but it all ties in together because I think that's where we are not as cool and as significant as we think we are. We think we're so far advanced.
No.
But if you even those obelisks in Egypt, I mean, those things are so big that we don't even have modern equipment that can lift that shit.
No.
You know what I'm saying? There's granite blocks in the Great Pyramid that there's not a crane on the earth that could pick that fucker up right now. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, dude.
Drag those through the sand on logs.
Right.
Okay, I'll tell you, you're full of shit.
You know
and then got it up.
My grandpa, my grandpa told me he was convinced that ancient peoples had a harness or a handle on earth vibration, that they did it with sound and magnetism.
Yeah, well, that's possible. Well, we have a thing
which
here.
Is, you know, I guess a novel theory.
Dude, there's a guy, it's documented. It was actually on one of the Ancient Aliens type programs. We have a place down south called Coral Castle.
Yes.
And this place was built by a guy. I remember visiting it as a kid. This guy built this place by himself. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he said he was visited and he had these pieces of equipment that they called levitation device.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a picture of him with this 15,000-pound stone with this black box sitting on the top of it. And he built this place himself. And the front door is like, it's like 15,000 pounds made out of stone, and you can close it with one hand.
Yeah,
you know?
I've heard about this place.
Yeah. Dude, it's been around forever.
The world is a mysterious place. Right now, my rabbit hole deal right now, I'm going real deep, like super deep on, is Nikola Tesla. I am like completely obsessed with him right now.
Yeah.
Dude, what they did to that dude, I mean, all the innovation, I mean, he comes out with, he's like, you know what? Thomas Alva Edison is a beast. And, you know, Thomas Alva Edison was born right up the street here from me in Milan, Ohio. His birthplace is like, we went to field trips and shit to there. It's like 5-10 minutes from here.
Yeah.
He was famous for direct current, and Nikola Tesla is the one that has made all of this possible that we're doing right now with alternating current.
Yep.
This dude was like, you know what, we could do electricity, we could just pull it out of the air, and we don't even need wires and shit. You just put one of these deals in your house and everybody can have electricity. And what was his name? Westinghouse is like, well, I can't charge people for this shit.
Yep.
So
well, that's what they were.
They summarily they just ruined this guy's life. Yeah. Took all his patents. Yeah. They, you know, all of his works are like, they say, what do they say, like 90% of the stuff that he was working on, they can't find the documentation for anymore. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, that shit was buried down deep. Well, they talked about similar on Unacknowledged, where there's a way to harness energy, and everything, we would never have to pay for power. The way we feed people, the way everything would change in a millisecond.
Well, that's that's all part of the plan, man. I mean, how can you do something like that? And you need to have a utopian society for that. I mean, and if everything was cheaper or free, people would be squirting out kids everywhere. The world would be overpopulated, and then who's the new world order? Where's the new world order going to live when we all die? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's all by design, man. It's all by design. Wow. You know what I mean?
No
even in the window cleaning industry, the little snakes and turds and all these groups and stuff, that's all by design. It's all of this stuff is orchestrated, man. There's a puppet master in there somewhere that's pulling these strings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many flip-floppers and shit in this industry, and snakes. It's just it's tough to find people that have any kind of integrity in this business, you know what I mean? And especially not just this business, but in life anymore. You know what I mean? Everyone is so detached from personal relationships, you know what I mean? It's like people just say things without thinking before they say them. Like, some of the things that people that say to me on the internet, it's like, man, if you were standing in front of me right now, I'd bloody your nose right now. I'd backhand the shit out of you. You know what I mean? But not only that, they would never do that. They would never interact with you like that in person. You know what I mean?
Never.
There's consequences in life. Not on the internet. On the internet, there's no consequences.
Here's the thing. I'm a firm believer of this, that we're glorified cavemen. Right. With shit like the internet, dude, because people are not civilized anymore.
No.
The family values are gone. Family, I mean, everything is revolving around someone's cell phone or posting some shit. Half these guys on here post their whole life story on Facebook, and I'm like, this guy's the biggest fucking drama queen. He can't get paid for his job. He got this. He did that. I'm like, you know what, dude? I don't even fucking know you, and you're just spilling your guts.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, that's messed up.
For the most part transparent, but there's some things that are just not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's just a couple of days ago, if not last night, I found out something about somebody that I never even knew or would have guessed. You know what I mean? And and he tells me, and I'm like, well, shit. Now I even got more respect for you than I did before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're more of a straight shooter than I thought you were, Tex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
It's weird.
Yeah.
We were talking about the gunslinger and the innovations and all this stuff with Reach It and all this stuff, and it brings me, I've been wanting to say something about it, and there's been a little chatter here back and forth on your little thread about it. The residential poll
Yep.
the storefront pole, the
Yep.
traditional pole.
Yep.
I don't know about anyone else. I mean, I honestly feel like this is another avenue that has not been addressed. I know a lot of guys like to use their first three sections of the reach it for a commercial bowl, but I find it, uh, in a traditional sense, I don't really care for using a squeegee and a washer with that small diameter. It kind of gives your arm pump a little bit. Your hands
Well,
tend to get a little more tired holding on to
here's the
something
thing.
that diameter.
The reaches that I have are pros, so they're way too big
Oh
for
yeah,
what
you
I'm
don't have a
talking
mini.
about.
See, I've got a mini, so
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, the mini. How long is each section of a mini? Like 3 feet?
no, I think it's like 4 foot. I think.
Yeah. See, that would make a nice 4/8 pole. But I also say you spend a lot of money on this to get it beat up doing storefronts. That's why I said,
Right.
a low modulus carbon fiber pole with interchangeable tips, a rubber grip on the end with a loop to hook it on something on a chair or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and the lightness of the carbon fiber, the rigidness of it. Look, I understand it. If you can't, people are like, I wouldn't spend $100 on a pole. Well, not everybody would not spend $100 on a pole.
Right. Well, this is my
And I kind
thoughts
of,
on this. This is my thoughts on this. If I spend $100 on it and it lasts me 10 years, you know what I mean,
yeah.
and I ain't got a dick with
Well,
it, you know what I
normally
mean?
in route work, you'll lose it before you wear it out, type of thing.
Exactly.
I mean, how many times you got in your truck and then gone, oh crap, I left my
With my
pole. I
pole,
hope it's still there.
I do it all. Yeah, I do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
I
but you
got
just bought
decent
that
customers though that I usually, if I leave it, and they'll bring it in for me. You know what I mean? So
See, I am willing to pay a more expensive price for something that I use so much of, meaning this. Well, for instance, you bought the California Dreamin' pole,
the
okay?
California Dream, yeah, yeah,
The Sorbo pole. I
yes,
bought two of them because of my OCD.
uh-huh.
And I loved the pole. It was
Right,
great for the first month. And then
right,
one of the collars froze up, the other one, the tip broke off. And then I just got tired of, I loved, it was nice and smooth. The tools fit on it beautifully.
yes,
But for what I paid for it,
right.
it just didn't last.
If you could harness that right there in carbon fiber with a solid latch system,
Yep.
Jesus,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
That's a nice
Well,
pole, but I can tell you right now, after a couple weeks of work, I could see that there's going to be a collar issue because
there is.
I'm already having to bear jaw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It'll freeze up on you, dude. Over the weekend, I used to open it up, unscrew the lock completely, take a dry towel, wipe it all out, because if I didn't work, if I didn't do any pole job on Friday, because Friday is always a light day for us,
Right,
and then
of
I didn't
course,
work
me too.
Saturday, I didn't work Sunday, and Monday I go to open it up and it's frozen shut.
Right.
You got to put pliers on the thing. I shouldn't
Yeah.
be putting pliers on it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if the mini is 4-foot sections, okay, what's to say you can't adapt a tip that fits it? Because it probably already has that.
Mm-hmm.
Put a grip on the end of it. Put end defenders on it. Like I said, just because you should have end defenders on it,
Mm-hmm.
and call it a residential pole without any engineering. Sell them. Okay, it's not like you're re-engineering anything
Right.
with the dimensions of the poles, buying blanks and turning them into poles. You've already got a stock of that size, the two top sections of the mini. Put a grip on it,
Yeah.
and call it a pole. And
Right.
guess what? If it's $100 and no one wants it, you didn't spend anything to do it. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But I'll buy one. I'll buy a couple of them.
Right. Yeah. My only complaint is it's got to be able to, like you said, you got to come up with a way to put Unger handles, Sorbo handles, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, Adderall
Yeah.
handles. It's got to be able to work. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Mormon makes a proprietary pole. I could be wrong about that. You know what I mean? Where their
Yeah.
tools work the best on that,
Well,
or it might
here's
be
the
their
thing.
handles. It might, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If you look at the California Dreamin' pole, they have the perfect tip on it because it's got O-rings on it, so it will fit some tools snugger than others, but it fits
Right.
every tool.
fits every tool.
Right?
The only thing is just not very durable.
No, well, that's the lock system, in my opinion. And then, have you ever seen these guys? They get a pole that has like a Euro thread on the end of it, and then they screw a wooden tip on it, or they screw. The problem with that is that whole thing flexes, so you're not getting even pressure on the glass,
Exactly.
or it bows. It
Right.
starts to bend. I see
Right.
guys doing that all the time. I'm like, dude, what the hell is that?
Right.
I mean, that's why I've always stuck with my garlic poles, because I get a plastic screw-on tip. It fits the tools perfectly. I used to use the wood ones, but they don't last. And so you get the dimension of the plastic tip, and you screw it on the end of the pole. Done.
Right. Right. I use Unger poles, the Optolock poles. I love them. The green
Yeah,
professional grade ones. Those
yeah, I know
I've
which
got
ones you
one in
have.
my truck. I got one in my truck right now. I've had for 5 years. It's
Yeah,
built like a brick shit house. And
they
you can
weigh
take
nothing too.
yeah, and you can
Yeah,
take the collar off of it, replace the nylon
yep,
inserts in the lock, and
yep,
tighten it back down. It's good to go again. You know
yep.
what I mean? It's
No, I
the only
agree.
thing wrong with that is the you get the old window cleaner's bow in it. You know what I mean? You're gonna have a bow in it
Yeah,
from where you're pulling.
yeah,
If you could
yeah,
eliminate that, you know what I mean? You'd
yep.
be in there like swimmer. I mean, I don't know. There may be something in the works with Reach It. You never know. But I honestly, what you're saying about coming up with a grip and coming up with a tip system for it. What are you out?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? What are you out? I think
nothing.
they might not be 4 foot sections. They might be 3 foot 6. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I
then
think.
you got some overlap. I call it a 4/8. That's what we call it.
Hmm.
You know, I think some people were confused because they're like, you can get a 48 foot. I go, no, no, no. For storefronts,
Right.
4 foot, 8 foot. It's either
Yeah.
4 foot
I don't know
or
what to call
anywhere in
them. I don't
between.
know what to call them because if you call them an 8 foot pole, they think it's 16 foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
4 foot pole
yeah,
that goes
yeah,
8 feet if you need it to. I mean that's
yeah.
if they could crack that. Like I said, there's some room. There's some wiggle room there. I'm all about water fed pole and all this stuff, but the traditional pole market is just stale. It's stagnant, and there's room. There's some room for improvement there.
Oh
There
yeah,
is.
oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? I mean,
Well,
shit.
here's the thing. My guys lose poles all the time,
Uh-huh.
and because I use the garlic poles, that's what they initially get, and they'll lose it, and then they go to Home Depot and buy that blue collared pile of crap. The
Right.
tip falls off; it just kind of pressed in there,
Right.
and I'm like, you know what, dude? You give me a piece of equipment back that you've worn out, and I'll give you a brand new one. But you
Hmm.
constantly lose shit. That's on you.
Right.
That's on you.
Right.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I want you to bring it to me and say it just doesn't work anymore. I've had it for 5 years and it's worn out, and I don't know if you can rebuild it. I give you a brand new one. I'm cool with that. But
Right.
when someone constantly loses stuff and it just costs money, money, money to keep replacing it, that's why you don't put $100 storefront pole in the hands of someone that leaves shit everywhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I'm not going out and buying my whole staff $100 poles. Well, you
Yeah.
probably not. But
Yeah.
if you clean glass or your foreman's a stand up guy, you might buy him something nice. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Some people place a lot of merit on what things cost, but are really and especially in this industry, which is to me hilarious. I
Well,
mean,
dude.
you guys are
I
always bitching about getting shortchanged, but you know what I mean. And when it comes
yeah.
to your equipment, you're like, I want it to cost $1.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, like I've said, what business can you be in other than picking up dog shit that costs you less than $100?
Right?
You
Exactly,
know,
dude.
I mean, dude, you were a carpenter. What does an S-wing hammer cost? $50?
It's about $38.
Yeah, that's not a cheap piece of equipment
No,
that you could
no.
easily lose.
When I started out doing, when I got my first framing job, I had just in my tools that I wore around my waist, I had $200 just in that. And
Yeah,
most construction places wanted to make sure you had your own circular saw, your own 4 foot
yep,
level. You know what I mean?
yep.
You had to have your owns of that shit because people tear shit up all the time or lose shit. So I mean, this is a
Well, dude,
cheap industry to be involved in. The only
you
thing
you
that ain't.
walk into an automotive shop, whether it's a dealership or
Oh,
not. What do you think that toolbox costs?
oh
With
yeah,
tools
yeah.
in it, a
Probably
hundred grand.
some of these guys got toolboxes that are worth more than your house.
Oh yeah, no, you're
I
right.
know
They do.
my cousin runs a
Yeah,
rental house and his son has he's the mechanic, one of the mechanics for him, and shit, he's got a toolbox, probably got $30,000 worth of shit in it already, and he's just a
he's
young kid, you know what I mean?
yep,
He's
yep,
just turned, like, I think he's 22 years old, so
yeah,
he's not been
yeah.
even been doing it that long.
Yeah,
So,
go buy a snap-on ratchet. It'll cost you
Oh,
$175,
what's worse than
and
the
you're going to complain
Snap-on
about
guy?
$100 fucking pole?
Yeah. What's worse than the Snap-on guy? He's like a crack dealer. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah, yeah.
We've
Yeah,
all
yeah.
been there.
Here,
Oh,
if you buy this $40 metric 10 millimeter socket, I'll give you this $5 hat.
yeah, exactly.
They reel you
Exactly.
in with the $5 hat, the
Yep.
$2 T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, man. No, it's
Bastards.
true.
We'll get you on a
It's true.
payment plan for that $400,000 toolbox.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got to bring a fucking tow truck to move
Yeah.
the damn thing.
No, and you
Yeah.
gotta spend an extra 20 G's to have a ladder to get up to the top of it, take your sockets and stuff out of it.
Well, that's like me in my shop here. People say, you got more tools than the whole street combined. I said, yeah. I spent 10 years doing nothing but buying tools and having no money to do any projects. But now I can do anything I want, and the
Right.
money goes towards the project.
Right.
But that's what I enjoy.
Well, I mean, as over a lifetime, if you're a handy guy and you don't like to have pay some bozo to come in your house do everything for you, you accumulate tools as a man over over a lifetime. You know what I mean? You get a barn full, like my grandfather's toolbox. I got my grandfather's toolbox when he retired. The place that he worked for replaced every single pipe wrench, everything, all rigid tools. Those aluminum pipe wrenches, you know what I mean, the really light ones. Even he had an aluminum set, a steel set. I'm talking from 48 inches all the way down to 6 inches. They replaced every tool the man had, bought him a toolbox, and sent it home with him. And he took his old tools home. You know what I mean? So
Nice.
if I wanted to, I can open my own plumbing business.
There you go.
I got so much shit.
In the plumbing business, you could charge someone $125 an hour to change a toilet flush valve.
Yeah.
And God forbid you ask that to wash a window on the 12th story, you know? Crazy.
Yeah. That's a trip,
You know?
man. That's a trip.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Did you have a good Memorial Day? I know you guys were out at camp having a good old time. What it looked like to me, man, riding ATVs and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, both my boys been riding since they're about 4 years old, and we now have 5 acres out there. We got a full cabin, hot water, septic tank, full bathroom, air conditioning. I mean, I'm too old to be laying on the ground.
Right,
Camping for me is
Yeah.
But
it's more about the spot than the activity.
Yeah, we try to go once a month. My wife would go every weekend if we could, but she knows that my hobby's out here, her hobby's up there. So we go up there once a month, and it was nice out there because we supposed to had a tropical depression come through, and it really kind of fizzled out. So a lot of people didn't come out. So because Memorial Day is always a busy weekend out there, and but it was quiet. We rode, and it was just it's nice for me because we have a picnic table out in the yard that I have to sit there in order to get internet, and everywhere else it's totally dead. That one spot works. So it keeps me off the internet. It keeps me off of, the only television we have plays DVDs. We don't have a satellite out there. I mean, we could, but the whole point to go to not watch.
That's what Jennifer and I are looking. I mean, our house will be paid off before I'm 50. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is cool.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to find myself a piece of land, a place to get away. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be nothing fancy. You know what I mean? Even if it's just a camper, a really nice fifth wheel sitting in the middle of nowhere, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, a place to get away. You've got me on this 10-year plan thing now. That's that's all that's in my head now is this 10-year plan. You know what I mean?
Even if it goes more than 10 years, have a plan.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's you always got to look for what's down the road.
Yeah. What's life if you're not looking forward?
Exactly. You're just spinning in circles if you don't look forward. But like where we go, it's kind of unique. There's not a lot of places like this, at least in our state, where you can buy a piece of property. You can't build a permanent structure. So permanent structure would mean, a concrete foundation and a concrete building, but you can build wood frame, and you pretty much do what you want. It's like 50,000 acres of hunting and wilderness, and it's just great.
So
And it's
is that a spot where you really have to worry about your inclement hurricane weather seasons down there? Is that a spot
yeah,
where
I mean,
do you have to
it,
worry about
it
that? I mean, like
it's
when you
pretty
get some
centered
weather
in the
blowing
state.
through, do you have to worry about your cabin?
Yes and no. I mean, my partner out there is a GC, so our stuff is built pretty tight.
Uh-huh.
It's not to any kind of code, but like we had a tornado go through. It's been through a hurricane. We've got a tin roof, so there was a couple pieces of bent sheet metal
Uh-huh.
and a couple ripped screens on our outdoor kitchen, and a tornado came through and took down a couple pine trees, but everything fared pretty well,
That's cool.
you know. But the way we have it set up is this: my bed that's up there replaced the bed that I have in the house. My
Right.
television is my old television,
Right.
so if it goes, it goes.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
It'll
yeah, yeah.
suck, but it goes.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
don't invest a lot in it.
Right. It's a camp.
Yes.
Oh.
But
I don't know.
no,
It
it's a
looked
blast.
like a shitload of fun. That's all I know. It
Oh, dude.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you
you
come
sent me
down
a couple
and give me a
videos. I'm
couple
like,
days.
man, they're getting down, boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We ride with you meet people and you
Mhm.
get 20 Polaris UTVs flying through the woods. It's just a blast. I mean,
Oh, I
it's an
can
adventure.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's cool,
yeah, it's
man.
cool. It's my escape from you know the reality that's you know locked me
Window
into
cleaning and
windows.
paying bills and all that shit.
Yeah. 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 It's a great time. You know.
So are you guys are what'd you say? You're still 10 days behind because of all the weather. Do you see any end in sight or what?
Yeah, we'll be caught up by the end of next week.
That's good.
Yeah, we finished up. The only thing I put off, I got behind on was a scratch removal job on a real high end home that's brand new,
Uh-huh.
and I put them off and put them off and put them off, and so I did 6 windows over the last day and a half, and I've got another 6 or 7. So I'll finish it Monday, Tuesday. I told him I'm not coming back tomorrow. Really nice guy, and we're starting a new hospital next week, and so yeah, we're caught up on. You got there's a bumblebee there.
That might have been a little too close.
Yeah,
But that's
that was.
payback for last night. Honestly, Mark sent me a video. He's like sent me a voice chat message in Facebook Messenger farting, and I'm not kidding, guys. I think I laughed for almost an hour and a half. It wasn't the fart, it was the fact that Mark, you see here in the video, he farted, and the childlike laughter that came out of him afterwards, just I fucking couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, it doesn't matter how old you get, farts are still funny.
Dude, if I'm sitting in church and someone drops ass,
Yeah.
I might be the only one laughing, but I am fucking
You're
laughing.
right, me too, dude. But you giggling afterwards, and it's not
Oh,
like
yeah.
you meant to catch the laugh. It just kind of fell. You couldn't help yourself but
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah.
Dude, I was dying, dude. I just couldn't. Jennifer was like, dude, what's wrong with you, man? I'm like, dude, listen to this. And she's like, really? I'm like, what? It's super funny. He farted, bro. And then he laughed. Men
Oh,
are
yeah.
men are simple beings, man. It doesn't take much. You know what I mean?
No. Well, like I've always said, there's a joke in anything. You just got to figure out what
Yeah,
it is.
man.
The shit's funny.
I try not
That's
to
just-
take too many things very seriously. It sucks to take life that seriously. You know what I mean? If you can't have a little fun, guys, come on, man. You know?
Yeah, dude, it's gone in a blink of an eye. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I told you this. I think I have a customer that I've been cleaning for 17 years. It's a restaurant, and
Yeah.
about 6 months ago, his name is Mike. He comes to me and he says, "You've been cleaning my windows for almost 17 years now." And I say, I appreciate. I'm sure other people have been in and talked to you about window cleaning. And he goes, yeah, all the time. He goes, you've been here every Tuesday for 18 years, and
Right.
17, 18 years. And I go, what's scary is when I started washing your windows, I had a newborn at home. I got a kid that just graduated high school. That's
crazy,
scary.
man. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
me reflecting. I turned 39 tomorrow. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
we had
Happy
me
birthday, buddy.
yeah, thanks, man. The me and the guy got working for me, Jeremy, my sister's boyfriend, we were just sitting there talking about how fast it goes. You know what I mean? You don't
Oh yeah.
really think about it, and then I start thinking about that number 39, and I was just like, man, when I was 19, 39 seemed like a lifetime away. You know what I'm saying?
You
And
met
now you
someone.
look back, and it's just like, geez, that really went fast, man.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It does.
it's crazy,
Well,
dude.
I moved into my house 20 years ago, and one of my neighbors who I became real close with over the years, um, I didn't think about it, and you start to think about, women are good with dates. I'm just not good with dates, but I know it's
Right.
still 20 years, and
Yeah.
I'll sit there and have to think when was 20 years ago, because once it went to 2000, I usually miss 10 years. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
one of my best neighbors, he passed away 3 years ago from cancer, and then I started thinking, holy shit. He was 62 when he died. So when I met him, he was younger than I am now. That's what's
Right.
scary. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And when I
that's
met him, I'm like,
sketchy,
that's an
man.
old dude over there,
Yeah, yeah, that's sketchy, dude. That's it. Life is a weird, weird set of circumstances. That is without question. You know what I mean? It's really weird
Well,
the type of
TJ,
existence we live.
if you sit there and think about it, then you're less prone to wasting your time
Right.
beating someone over the head on Facebook
Yep.
about some stupid ass
Stupid ass
post.
bullshit. I know, Mark. I know. And
You know?
that's and I went out of my way to leave. I left every window cleaning group except for 3.
Yeah.
I left every single one. I'm just like, I
Yeah.
cannot devote this time to this bullshit. It's so stupid. Because I've got no skin in the game besides my word and my integrity. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
guys are starting to get these gunslingers and shit, and they're saying around about the same things I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So with
Well,
that said, I mean,
well,
outside of
that's
that, I've
TJ.
got
That's
no
why
reason to keep going on and on and on about this, man.
Well, that's why I didn't make a gunslinger video. Public, I'll tell you,
Hmm.
I think it's a brilliant product. I think
Right.
Richie came up with something awesome. I appreciate that Perry was able to get involved and get them produced,
Yep.
and the way they sent them out and marketed them. I think it's great, and I
Yeah,
leave it at that because
there's a couple of people that have mentioned the way that he's packaged them, and the belt buckle, and the handkerchief, and
yep,
the little pamphlet, and all that stuff.
yep,
The
yep,
and all the stuff they put on the box and all this, and it's just
yep.
like, oh, that's so stupid, and this, that, and what are you talking about, man? That is probably the coolest thing that's been done in our industry, like ever.
Dude. And,
Normally, you get
yeah,
a brown box stuffed full of shit. You know what I mean? And here's your
yeah,
tool in a plastic bag. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
there's
yeah,
nothing wrong
yeah.
with that.
No,
They
I
felt
mean,
like this is such a game changer and such a cool ass innovative product. They're like, why don't we make this an experience? You know what I mean?
yeah,
And which makes
yeah,
sense. Like, hey man, you're a part of the changing of a guard, essentially. You know what I mean? Something that could
yep,
possibly change the way we clean windows. You know what I mean? And the way we look at things. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Here's a cool box. Here's a handkerchief to commemorate it. Here's a belt buckle for supporting us, giving us your money. You know what I mean? On something this
Well, here's
different.
the thing,
You know
TJ.
what I mean?
Here's the thing with that. That can backfire, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
If you get all that fancy packaging and the product sucks,
Yeah.
you'd say you should have put more into the product, not the
And less
packaging.
on the
But
bullshit.
when you have a nice experience opening it, dude, I didn't even open the bandana and all that. I played around with the belt buckle. Okay, I put it back in the box minus the gunslinger to
Uh-huh.
keep it the way it was, and I made sure that box didn't go out in the recycle because I appreciated that experience. So my
Right.
point is this: if you make it all pristine and pretty packaging and it sucks, you're going to say something. But if the product is as good and as well thought as the way they put it into the display, basically,
Uh-huh.
then it's a home run, no
Right.
matter what anybody says.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right. Right. Contrary
and
to any other horse shit involved. You know, I mean, it's at the end of the day, you get all these extra cool things, but the gunslinger's badass on top of that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's kind of like,
yeah, yeah,
I feel like a really huge swell of butt hurt. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
somebody needs to go get them some Gold Bond spray and get that chapped ass taken care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know it's hot
fix
outside, guys, but geez, you're super butthurt, Gus.
that. What is that?
You
I
keep
smell
talking
nut
shit, I'm
rat?
gonna make you lick a white dog turd.
Yeah. No, look, it's like, all right, I'll. This is the complete opposite end of the spectrum, but not. I know you're a Ford guy. I'm a Ford guy.
Yeah.
So in 2017 and 18, Ford came back with the Ford GT,
Mm-hmm.
which is a American supercar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not a Corvette. It's not a brick with more horsepower. It is a piece of art.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, they
the
only
best.
made, I think, 500 the first year, either 250 or 500. You had to apply to buy them.
Right.
When you were accepted to get the car, not only did you get updated pictures of your car being hand assembled, but they sent you a box, much like the Gunslinger box, where you had a plastic model of the GT and you had different underlays to put in it to pick your colors, to pick your stripes, to pick. So you built your own car on your dining room table.
Right.
You say, I want this car with this stripes and this and that. Okay. And I don't care if you're a Ford fan or not. Anyone that looks at that car knows that's one of the baddest, best looking.
Yeah. Well, me and you have had a
American
conversation about this.
ever.
I promise you that if I ever won the big lottery, I'd buy you one.
Dude, I got 3 people telling me that.
Yeah.
So someone,
Hopefully.
I'm still waiting for that. I'm still waiting for that attorney letter in the mail from some trust fund someone left me.
Right.
You know. but no, they even say when they interview people, the experience of buying a car is not just buying the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's the package of what goes into the car. So you actually see your car in 20 different physical forms being hand assembled by the same 3 guys. That is incredible. You know?
It's not so much you're buying something, it's an experience. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're doing this, and, you know, for doing this, check out, you know, we're going to take care of you the best way we can. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Give you an experience that you can, you know, file away. You know what I mean? And, like, all this cool shit, you know, all that cool shit. I mean, you know, like I said, when these fellers that are one of these days, Mark Tanner's not going to be cleaning windows anymore. He's going to be hunched over in a walker, and in his top dresser drawer is going to be the Gunslinger belt buckle. You know what I'm saying? And his grandkid's going to get that one day when he's dead and gone, and you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
What is this? You know what I mean? And on the back is this guy's name, Richie Blue, and Richie. I mean, it's just a keepsake, man. Don't read too fucking much into it. It's just, you know, it just is what it is, man. Jeez, oh, Pete, guys.
It adds a very nice, thoughtful touch to the purchase.
Yeah. And you know what I like about it is it's all about the theme. It's a gunslinger. It's a belt buckle for a gun. You know what I mean? You could use that belt buckle to hold your tool belt on if you really wanted to. Those are my plans. So.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be riding bull this weekend, so I'll have it on.
Oh yeah. I've got the state championship coming up. I'm going to go up against Lane Frost. I'm going to show that motherfucker what's up.
Oh yeah.
What's his name? Tough Hedeman and Lane Frost. Those are some badass bull riders there.
Look, if you're on the fence about buying it, what's $100? It ain't going to change your life. Maybe you don't have to buy it now. Wait 6 months till you have the money. You see these guys that go, I wish I had the money to buy it. Trust me when I tell you, if I'm a man who's been washing for damn near 30 years and I'm not a bucket on a belt guy, and I put this thing on and said, this shit is badass.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
think that should hold a little water.
A little weight.
Yeah.
And you know what's cool about it is it's, you know, it is, even if you do, I mean, I haven't heard anything, or I haven't had any issues, but I have you couldn't be asking for a better company to be putting out a product like this. If you do have a problem with a reach-it pole, like you said, or a constructor brush, or possibly your gunslinger, Perry is going to take fucking care of you, man. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're going to make it better. The same way he did with his reach-it poles when he first came out with them. You think that pole is the same pole that he put out initially? No. Pole has evolved. He evolves those poles and those brushes every year. He's trying to make it better. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's try to change this out because guys are having problems with this. You know what I mean? That's what's good about this in Perry's hands. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you got that manufacturer backing if there's anything that you know presumably could happen to it. and you've got the innovation always turning. You know what I mean? You've always
Yeah.
got that they're trying to push the envelope, and they're always trying to think about user friendly. Is
Well,
this
here's
going
the
to
one
help?
thing people don't think of. They go, I bought a reach it pole 10, let's say 8 years ago. And
Hmm.
like you just said, it's not the same pole that it was 8 years ago. Well, something that goes from a thought to a blueprint to a design to into production is always going to change after
Right,
it's released,
right,
usually for the better, right?
right. Of
So
course.
then Perry will come out with, then he came out with the constructor brush. Then he came
Right.
out with the over-the-top rinse bar. And everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people were like, all it is going to sell me more shit, sell me more shit. Well, all that works on the brush that you already have. It's
Right.
not like he's telling you, oh no, you got to put that brush on the shelf and buy a whole nother brush.
No.
He's telling you, I've made this basically a modular system for you to set it up the way you wanted
Right.
it. I told you,
Hence,
and Perry
hence
told you.
the keyword constructor brush.
Exactly. Well, look, when I met Perry, and he told you I have the first
he told me,
constructor brush
yeah. I
over
couldn't.
here.
That's crazy. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Dude, he handed me. It wasn't. He handed me one of the bigger ones. I think it was like an 18-inch, I want to say.
Okay.
And he goes, "What do you think of that?" And I look at it, and I'm flipping it around. I'm looking at it. I had no clue he was going to put this in my hands. And I go, "It looks like if I unscrew these end caps, I could change the bristles out." He goes, shakes his head, "Yeah." And I'm like, "That's pretty smart." I said, but then I went back to, are we fixing a problem that doesn't exist?
Right.
Well, I started, engineer it in my head and say no, because again, I'm not a full-time water-fed pole guy, but if I've got different brushes to attack different issues, bird shit and whatnot, something more aggressive, something with boar's hair, something with different bristles,
Yeah.
that would be nothing but beneficial. And then I started to see the value in it.
Right.
Okay. And the original prototype, it had its issues. It had leaks. The hose didn't fit right. The barbs weren't big enough, and it needed to be tweaked. But never did you have to replace the entire thing. You got an update for it.
Right.
You bought an update, or you
And
got an update.
He's been pretty cool about that too. So.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's not trying to bust you up for you to
No,
upgrade the damn
but
thing.
look,
You know what I'm saying?
I guess some figure bad publicity is better than no publicity at all. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I just recently switched my original constructor brush, the original one, the regular nylon bristles and all that stuff. I went and bought the boar's hair bristles for it and changed it all out. Put the new the new corner wrenched bars that they've got now. It's just like the hydro blade, but it's pretty cool stuff, man. And that's one of my favorite brushes now. I really like it, But that's I guess that, I mean, we jerk fucking Perry and Reach It off a lot on here, so people think that we shill or whatever. But I like Unger tools too, you know what I mean? I'm a huge Unger guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Perry is gonna have to move fucking mountains for me to jump off that train, you know what I'm saying? Just like with my Sorbo channels, man, you're gonna play hell getting me not to use a Sorbo 3x4
Yeah.
anymore. You know what I mean?
Look,
You're gonna have to do some crazy ass shit, cause I love
But you know what?
that stuff.
Here's the thing. And because you're, an Unger guy and a Sorbo guy, almost when you get anything else you put in your hand, right away. Look, I got some of those Mormon tools, and I put them in my hand. It felt immediate like I was using a Home Depot squeegee. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
The first thing that happens is the plastic end clips fell off of it. They fell off. The rubber starts moving around. I hand it to one of my guys. He goes, "This is a freaking toy.
Yeah.
I don't want this."
Right.
I go, no, try it. Clean one window. I go, maybe I'm doing something wrong,
Right.
but it's not cleaning that well.
Well,
But then there's guys that'll fight you about that. They'll stand up and say, "Oh no, it's the best tool ever." Well, if it works for you, good for you.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
When I first got it, that was my experience with it. When they first came out with them, I had a pre-order. You remember they sold them, and that was back when I bought things. I started buying some things from WCR. It was carried by them, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna try this out." And I ordered it and ended up having to wait an extra month and a half to get it because they oversold it. You know what I mean? They couldn't meet the demand or whatever. But when I used it the very first time on the glass, I pulled it out of my plastic Boab and the one end wasn't on it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I put it back on and I moved down, and I'm like having to hold the squeegee at a different angle, and that was really bothering me because I was like, if I hold it like I normally do, I'm getting lines and shit. So I put it back in the bucket. I moved down to the next window. I pulled the squeegee out again, and the fucking plastic end's not on it. And I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? What in the hell?
Yeah.
So I get on the Facebooks, and everybody's like, oh, you got to heat it up and then stick it back on there. It's like, so I got to heat it up. And then, I don't like things. If you sell me a tool and I have to jerry rig it to get it to work, I mean, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing?
Yeah. Well,
it needs to work.
Yeah.
Out of the box.
No, I know. I saw guys at the trade show. They had a setup, and look, I don't dislike them. It's just not something I would use. But they've got that, like Ettore made that pivot squeegee that has the spring-loaded end on it. I just found that they didn't last in my world of commercial window cleaning.
Right.
A couple hundred windows in a day.
Right.
It's just not going to hold up. And but some make it work. And I'm a fan. If you give me a squeegee that doesn't have clips in it, guess what, TJ? I'm putting clips in it.
Right.
Okay. I want my rubber to be held from each end.
Right.
Not in the middle. You have these. Unger does it. They've got a squeegee that has teeth that bite into the rubber.
Well,
and that causes the rubber to bow right there.
Yeah, and I can tell you from experience, I modify those. I modify that. I still put I still put clips in the ends to keep that bow out of the center. I still do.
Yep. And my Sorbo, if I happen to drop a clip, I walk into wherever I'm working. If it's a restaurant, you take a wooden toothpick, you slide it in, you snap it off, it swells up when it gets wet. Done.
Done.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
There you go. Tips from Mark Tanner. That actually does work in a pinch. A toothpick will fix your Sorbo squeegee.
A round toothpick, not a flat toothpick.
Not a flat. You got to use a round one because it will swell when it gets wet.
Yep.
Well, we have once again hit the 1 hour and 52-minute mark. We have done another epic podcast with my awesome friend Mark Tanner, which I feel like doesn't come out strange for me. I feel like I can call you my friend because we speak on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
And we've always got some. We always have fun together. It's never any. You know what I mean? There's never any. Like cross moments about this guy, this, and it's always we're always laughing about everything. There's you know what I mean, and that's the point here, guys. I think a lot of people miss about this is you guys. A lot of guys listen to this and take negative things away from it, and I honestly, we're not coming from a negative place. You know what I mean? We're just we're just all three, me, Mark, Tim, Josh, the four of us, we are just opinionated guys that we just get a chuckle out of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're street people.
Yeah,
dude, window cleaners are street people.
Yeah, we're just different. Yeah.
You'll never see me in a $600 pair of shoes.
Dude, that post was probably one of the funniest things ever. And this is the thing about Josh. I don't know whether he's being serious or he's fucking with everybody. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? So, which makes it kind of funny, but dude, they roasted his ass in there. They fucking roasted that dude. What Chris Cartwright asked him if those shoes came with pockets for analies. Dude, I fucking fell out. I almost died, bro. People are sending me screenshots. I'm just like, good Lord.
Dude, it got to a point on that post that they were planning a fight, a physical fight. Chris Cartwright and Josh. And it was like, Josh is a pussy, he won't show up, and Chris is like, you're my bitch. And look, when it gets to that point, I think it's a little bit too much. That's why I didn't chime in but I have to say this, and I think I said it to you, TJ. I found that sweet spot at camp to call my boy TJ because I'm like, is this fucking for real? Is this for real? And look, like I've said, we have a New York window cleaner down here that has that type of attitude. He tells me, he says, you Florida window cleaners can't do what I do. So I go, well, exactly what the fuck do you do?
Right. What is it?
Please explain to me. He says, I do stain removal just like you do. And I go, okay, good. He goes, what do you use? I said, well, I blend up a couple abrasives and make my own polish. He says, I use sodium oxide. And I'm like, he meant to say cerium oxide.
Mm-hmm.
Sodium oxide, I think, is something you find in a fucking fire extinguisher.
Right.
So now I know his credibility is total shot.
Out the window, yeah. You don't even know how to pronounce the shit you're using, dude.
Yeah. So I go, well, let me ask you something. If you do things that we don't down here, because New York is the best state in the country, you guys really don't ride on ropes like Jeffrey Scott and Dave Casnocha and all of us. At one time, I used to do it. You don't rig buildings, you ride swing stages over 6 stories. So exactly where is this arrogance coming from?
Right.
That, you know,
I'll tell you where.
I'll
tell you where. The fucking Gucci loafer outlet. Whoever, dude, Chris Cartwright called them Nokis, you know, like the noodle.
Yeah, well, down here we call them Puerto Rican tree climbers. That's what they.
Dude, them fucking things, dude. When you showed me that picture, like, is he being serious or is he joking? And I'm just like, and I'm looking and I look, and I zoomed in. And I was like, this dude is like, like, eat a dick. Here's my $600 shoes. You know what I mean?
I have to come clean with something. I took that picture, and you know how I can manipulate with that little app. I put a set of clown shoes next to it, and it looked like a clown was fucking him in the ass. And I didn't post it because I said, "This is just too. I'm not going to get involved."
That dude is, like I said, I've never had a crossword for the guy or whatever. You know, I don't know him personally. We're just busting his chops because his chops need busting for that damn picture. But, dude, bro,
well, look,
bro, you gotta stop, bro. We're window cleaners, bro. You gotta stop, bro.
Well, look, I put it on one time on my television, and I couldn't grab the remote fast enough, but I put on that Jersey Shore show,
dude.
And if that's the way those people really are up there,
I don't think so.
It just, oh my God.
Chris Cartwright doesn't seem to act like that. He likes Metallica and plays guitar and shit. He seems like a level away guy, but I don't know how you can't watch Jersey Shore. That's like a fucking train wreck, man. I'm captivated by those dudes, man. I'm just like, man, this is like, these are real people. These like people actually breathe the same air that I'm breathing. What is going on here, man?
We call those oxygen thieves where I come from.
We call them mouth breathers.
I have to say though, man, what he spends in marketing on Facebook, I haven't spent in 20 years of being in business.
Yeah. You know what? Josh, you got to ease up on the Facebook bag. I don't want Thompson Touch to fly to Sandusky to clean my windows, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good Lord. I mean, he's killing it. He's smashing those Facebook ads. He is not playing around with that shit. I will say this, though. Usually in the slower months, I'll run like a $20 ad, and it'll pay for itself like gangbusters, man. Like around fallish time, like run a kooky gutter ad. Pfft, slaying it, dude.
I don't know, man.
I know you're old school. Yep.
Yeah.
Mark's like, I could spend that $20 on chin tobacco.
Yeah, give me some dip. Give me a can of that dip.
I need a can of dip. Yo, hey boy, I need me a log of Skull long cut. A whole log, you see. Yeah. How did I, dude? Did I call it? Are you chewing Skull long cut?
You nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah.
You just look like a Skull long cut guy to me. I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Give me a log of that Skull long cut.
I don't really drink. I don't smoke. My worst habit I have. And I can tell you, I quit when my first son was born. I couldn't see myself walking around with a spit cup in one hand and a baby in the other.
Right.
So I quit for 5 years. And then one day my wife comes home and there's a can of dip on the counter, right? And I'm like, what the hell's that all about? And she's like, you're barking at me. You're barking at the kids. You're acting like an angry person. This will fix that. And I threw it away. Okay. I don't want it anymore.
Right.
And I was having a bad day, a lot of stress. I went into the 7-Eleven, grabbed me a can, and the angels sang. You know,
Right. Yeah.
look,
I
it's a
used to.
nasty, it's
I
a
used to.
nasty, dirty, expensive habit.
Yeah,
But
I used to do. I used to before. I actually haven't smoked my whole life. I used to be a dip guy myself. Working construction, you know, it's kind of
yep,
walking around with a lighter and a pack of cigarettes for a little
yep,
bit of a nicotine fix. I was a Kodiak
yeah,
wintergreen guy. I was
yep,
all everywhere, you know what
yep,
I mean? And that used to
yep,
piss the boss off too. Quit spitting everywhere, dick. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I can't stop farting. I hope that my microphone ain't picking all that. I'm just every time I laugh, I'm going. It's my
Just
hey
don't shoot
Tim.
yourself.
Listen, Tim's got me drinking these V8 drinks, man, and ever since I started drinking them, man, I've got like these like awesome bowel movements, like everything's super slick. You know what I mean? Nothing gets hung up. It just and now every time I fart, it's I can't even walk down the hallway without shit in my pants. I got the walking farts.
What
Thanks,
kind
Tim.
of V8? The vegetable juice?
No, it's like V8 energy. It's like a fruit and vegetable little thing there. You know, I don't know. It's pretty cool. They taste good, and
Yeah.
I'm trying. Like I said, I'm before we really started going here. I'm on my birthday tomorrow. I'm gonna cut out sugar for a month and see if it changes. I'm sure it will. I've got some inflammation issues, so with my
Yeah.
arms and my shoulders and shit. So, and I've heard that sugar is a large cause of giving you
Oh yeah.
inflammation. So,
Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah. You cut that out. Yeah.
yeah. They want
Yeah.
they're talking about carbs too, but I like potatoes, man, and
Oh yeah.
it's gonna be hard for me to get away from potatoes. So I can quit the
Well,
sugar, but I
yeah.
gotta have my taters, man.
Natural carbs are not. They're bad, but they're not as bad as
Right,
a can of Pepsi, or
right.
Mountain Dew or something.
Of course,
You
yeah.
know.
So.
But yeah, man.
Man,
Yeah.
again, we've been doing this 2 hours, man. So, I think,
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
I think it's time to go, buddy. It was nice talking to you, Mark. Um,
Always,
I,
always a pleasure. We need to get Tim or
see,
any of
yeah.
them on. A
Well, this
couple.
is the problem. This is the thing that pisses me off. Every time you're like, man, let's do a podcast. I'm like, cool. And then I'm like, Tim, he's like, dude, I can't. And
Yeah.
dude, Joshua Shove, dude, like my accusation, my presumption about Joshua was true. This dude bought a hood cleaning company.
Yeah.
So now he's cleaning windows all day and then 2 or 3
Dude,
nights a week having to fucking go
I
and
can
clean a
tell you
shitload
this.
of hoods, man. Jesus, Joshua.
And he's picking up turds too, right?
No, I think he's got someone else doing that. So he's got 3 different things going on right now. The dude is out of control, man.
Well, look, I wish him all the success in the
Oh,
world.
yeah.
Personally, I like to wear a couple hats and that's it.
Right.
I focus on what I do, but I wish him all the luck in the world. I can tell you this. I've never cleaned hoods, but I've seen guys, because I used to have a Hydrotech steam machine,
Uh-huh.
and I got to tell you, that's one of the nastiest businesses there is, dude.
Right. I could see his angle, though, because we live in a climate where, it's hard to clean windows up here for a lot
Yeah,
of, like 3 or 4 months out of the year. You got to be a fucking
yeah,
grizzly bear to do, a
yeah,
polar
yeah,
bear to get it done. So I
yeah.
see his angle, but right now, his angle, he just, it's hard to, it's really hard nowadays to, especially around here, to find anybody that wants to fucking work, man.
Dude, it's
It's
everywhere.
tough.
It's everywhere.
Is it
Same thing
everywhere?
here.
Well, it's
Oh yeah.
everybody puts in the comment, why are you having so much trouble finding good people? I'm like, well,
Well,
then
dude,
maybe you live in the good people place, motherfucker. I don't know.
I picked up a college 2 years ago that was 60 buildings, okay?
Uh-huh.
And they're various sizes from 10 stories down to single story buildings, but it was
Uh-huh.
60 buildings and they wanted it done in 3 full months. And look, I'm not a company that has guys sitting around waiting the phone to ring. Everybody's
Right.
got their work. So how do I take 5 guys and all of a sudden we're going to stop doing, I
And
can't
then
stop
do
doing a
that.
customer I do in 15 years to do a
Right.
college.
Right.
So I brought 2 new people in. And the first guy comes to me and he says, I said, how much are you looking to make? And he says, $28.50 an hour. And I said, that's pretty steep considering you only have a year's worth of window cleaning experience. He says to me, I said, is that the number you need to survive? I mean, because if it is, we can shake hands and I just can't pay that to someone that's not ready to jump off a building and do building work. You're certainly not there. You're a residential guy.
Right.
And he says, no, that number came from my previous job. And I said, what were you doing in your previous job? He said, concrete curbing. I said, that's hard work. I said, but for that kind of money, why did you quit, or why aren't you working there anymore? He says, because I was only making 14 to 20 hours a week. And I go, so if I gave you half that in 40 hours a week, doesn't that make sense? And he's looking at me like, but then I have to work 40 hours, you know?
Jesus.
Yeah. I'm like,
oh my God.
No, we have the same issue.
It's a little peephole into the dumbness of the world.
Yeah. I have found my two high-rise guys came from another company, and I knew them, and they're brilliant.
Right.
But before that, any high-rise guy or window cleaner that I had working for me, I preferred to take someone who didn't even know what a bucket was, teach them what I do, and make them into pretty good window cleaners, because a lot of other companies wanted to hire them. So I know they were good. Versus someone that comes in with bad habits. And like you said, nobody wants to work. Everybody wants that paycheck at the end of the week.
Right.
You know, and they say, oh, you're driving a new truck. Well, that has nothing to do with you, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked my tail off.
I've had a couple people work for me. They're like, this is what I'm getting paid, and then that's what you're getting paid for. So I'm like, listen, homeboy. I've been doing this for a really long time. Get to me come at me in August, and when you can't wipe your ass with your right arm because it's your squeeze arm, come at me and talk to me then. You know what I mean? Then you'll know why I make what I make. You know what I mean? You know, I'm the one paying taxes on this shit, cuz not you.
Yeah. My father saw something in me, and we went that direction. Now I have a boy that's 18, and we're looking at colleges. And he's considering the Air Force. My brothers are in the Air Force.
Okay.
You know, I know what I want him to do, but it's his decision. Whatever he wants, we'll support him. And then he started to realize that either the Air Force or college is, you know, Air Force is 4 years minimally, and college is 3 years for what he wants to do. And he says, well, Dad, you know, you've always made a nice living. You and Mom live pretty good. We have some decent things. And I looked at him. I said, you're not doing this, dude.
Right.
I said, it's not that I don't want you involved in business. You have to experience what you want to do. You
can always come back to this. You can always come back to this. This will always be here. This will
always be here.
Right.
Even if I'm not washing windows no more, we'll start a business. I said, but you need to go with what your dreams and goals are. Never mind what I'm doing. And it doesn't matter if you don't enjoy what you do. It doesn't matter what it pays.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I said, you want to work on airplanes? That's a top-notch mechanic if you're working on a fucking airplane.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And I'm standing behind you. So you're going to get the education you needed. Maybe it wasn't as available to me, but it's available to you. You're doing that. You're not popping out and saying, I'm going to wash windows. The goal is not to be a window cleaner. The goal is to be a business owner.
Right. Right.
I used to say I'm a window cleaner. No, I'm a business owner.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I've currently, the last couple of years, I own my own business. You know what I mean? I'm a business owner. I don't like, hey, I'm a window cleaner. You know what I mean? I'm proud of being a window cleaner, you know, because, you know, I'm out making scratch myself up my own living. You know what I mean? But outside of that, it's not like, you know, hey, I'm a doctor. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Hey, I'm a rocket scientist.
Yeah. Exactly.
What do you do? I clean the windows on the rocket ship. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? That doesn't matter, you know, just as long as you're making a good living and you can do what you need to do for your kids, that's all that matters.
If I can give my kids more than I had, then I'm a happy camper, and that's what I'm doing.
Right.
Oh,
well,
amen.
On that note, this is Outlaw Window Cleaner Radio, and I'm here for saying for Mark Tanner and myself, peace out, guys.
Yeah, peace. Stay safe.